at 8 o'clock in London, 3 p.m. in Philadelphia, and all around the world.
So it's good night from me, and it's good night from him. Good night. Good night.
Jeff's hitting buttons. Jeff, man, stop hitting buttons. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you let me know? How's everyone doing? Are we alright? You can hear me and see me. Fantastic. Let's see, we've got Mandy. How are you doing? You alright? Kirsty, Steve O. How's things, mate? You okay? Saf, how are you doing, bud? And hello, Botrix, for correctly joining the channel. Brilliant. That's what we like to see. How's everyone doing? We all alright? I'm going to see how long I can keep this going tonight, because the last few days have been a bit hectic. There's a Daniel, how you doing, bud? How's things? You alright? There's a yellow weather warning which is missing most of the northwest apart from Manchester, Blackpool and Southport, which is fantastic. It's right above our head at the moment and it looks horrible out there. Plus I've barely slept for the last 2 days. I've had a really bad toothache. And so 8 o'clock this morning I got a call back from the NHS 111 emergency dentist people. Sunday, New Year's Eve, and I got a call back from them at 8 this morning. And at 9 o'clock I was on the way down to Liverpool to get emergency dental treatment. Got in the place. They asked me to fill my details in on a form, so I sat down to fill my details in, and they were playing massive hits of the 80s on the radio. And the first song that played as I walked in there was Culture Club, Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? Which I thought was fantastically ironic, given the fact that I was in a bleeding dentist. But to be fair to the girl, she did not hurt me at all. She looked after me, but I am shattered through no sleep at all over the last couple of days. But I am pain-free. It's the main thing. Yeah, has everyone had a good Christmas? Ours wasn't too bad at all. It was nice seeing all the family, everyone being round, especially after the year that we've had. But it was quiet. Yeah, never eat yellow snow. Definitely up there with the better warnings that you can receive, isn't it? Especially if it's written, it's got your name written in it, or someone else's name written in it in your wife's handwriting. That's even worse. Never want to see that. But yeah, and I can already hear the fireworks going off. So it's going to be one of those nights. I dropped my daughter off at the social club where Mum used to work, so they're having a bit of a party there. And then at 12:30 it finishes and she's looking at going into town afterwards. Marvellous. Why are you going into town at 12:30 on New Year's Eve? But, you know, these are kids, aren't they? Yes, man, the awful time for a toothache. Abysmal time. I've been on every drug known to man. And none of it was working. So when she smashed me face to bits this morning, I was quite happy. Driving home with a big wad of cotton wool in my mouth, looking like I'd just done 12 rounds with Tyson. But as the day's gone on and everything's worn off, so's the pain. And I am delighted. I even had a nap earlier on, closed my eyes and went to sleep for the first time in a couple of days without any issue whatsoever. Kirsty, you've been ill for Christmas. Other than that, you're good. That's not particularly good, is it? Being ill for Christmas. Mind you, being ill any time of the year is not good. Yeah, very wise Chinese proverb. Definitely Confucius. he's responsible for everything, that man, isn't he? Yeah, Confucius says, man who goes to bed with itchy bum wakes up with smelly finger. Confucius also says, man that goes to bed with problem in hand wakes up with solution on chest. I do believe. No fireworks yet. Kirsty, how do you know if there's fireworks or not? Isn't everyone in London constantly shooting each other? The fireworks go bang and the youth them go brap, brap, brap. Is that how it goes? It was certainly a bit like that last time I was down there. Last time I went to London, last time I went to work in London, it was a little bit shady. I went to Croydon as well. The first time I went to Croydon was on the weekend, bank holiday weekend of Notting Hill Festival. Notting Hill Carnival, rather, sorry. So I went on the Sunday and stayed over for the meeting on the Tuesday. So I went on the Monday, stayed for the meeting on a Tuesday and enjoyed it. But the place was just absolutely chock with people, absolutely off the tits. But, you know, it was interesting anyway. When did I hit 4K? No idea. I've not been looking. I know it was getting close, but these are all the shorts views from a year ago that are still getting traction. And unfortunately, I'm in that Marmite position with them. There's not enough shorts views to get to the 10 million within 3 months. And they don't count towards the watch hour on the 4,000 hours. So it looks like I'm getting loads of people watching, and I am getting loads more views, but it's just not going quick enough yet. So after hand exercises are coming along very, very slowly. The last couple of days I've not done much, but I'm off tomorrow because it's a bank holiday. So I think I'll be getting the PlayStation 5 out, smashing Call of Duty on that one. Cheers, Steve. Thomas, how you doing, mate? All the best for you as well. Thanks, Kirsty. Thanks for the congratulations on the 4,000. It is strange because I wasn't never expecting to get anywhere near 1,000, never mind 4,000. But it just shows you. You never know what kind of things are going to blow up. Ah, man, it's still too bloody hot. So yeah, some of the stuff I've done end of last year, beginning of this year, is really starting to get loads of views. It's mad. Which means that for anyone who's out there who's watching, who's worrying about getting views or getting subs, the stuff that you've done ages ago can still get absolutely hammered. All it takes is for a couple of people to comment and then like or watch something else, and all of a sudden you're getting pushed to new viewers. And it works. Seems to be working anyway. Yeah, I need to start getting moving on my hand exercises. Obviously having that tooth problem just made me not want to do anything the last couple of days. So I've been sat on the sofa trying not to cry like a big brave boy. But tomorrow's another day, tomorrow's another year. I've got all my stuff ready to go. My little exercises. And I've got to make sure to start the year as I intend to continue. I'm not a huge one for making New Year's resolutions. I think possibly one of the only ones I made that I stuck to was never to make any more New Year's nuclear resolutions. We could do with some nuclear resolutions. So people dropping things on each other. Although I think possibly a private one that I sort of made to myself is to finish each year in a better position than I started it. And I know tomorrow I will start better than I finished this year, but will I be able to finish 2024 in a better position than I started it? I had a look last year. What was my goals? What were my targets? I was worried about not having physio, about not having occupational therapy. And I was right to worry about it because I didn't quite manage to hit what I was supposed to hit. But then as soon as the physio started back up again in, is it April, May? It started really flying. I could see myself getting better all the time, stronger, and understanding what I needed to do a bit better. The girls who used to come out when I left the hospital, what they were doing was trying to get me to the point where I was doing better around the house. That's all I needed to do at that point. And you were brilliant at doing that. But then after that, I sort of lost my way a little bit because I didn't know what I needed to do next. And thankfully, let's say the physio's got me to the point where I can drive again now. I've been driving since May. I've been back to watch Everton games. I still haven't seen us win. But I'm back there. So I'm starting to do a bit more. I'm happy with that, but I need to keep on pushing and pushing. Hopefully next year I'll be getting out a bit more. Get out in the car a bit more. And see how I can push myself without pushing too hard that I fall over. Tomorrow's going to be a perfect day for the beach. Going to hit 35 degrees C. Saf, you lucky sod. It's going to be about 8 degrees C here, and the beach is massive, and it's going to be cold, and there won't be many waves because the sea never comes in that far. It's always miles away. I was going to go out the other day when Blackpool Tower was on fire to see if I could get a picture of it or video of it. Then it turns out it wasn't actually on fire. It was just orange netting, and the British public are lunatics. They're putting it down to immigrants setting fire to the place, and when it ended up just being a little bit of orange netting caught in the wind. Mandy, your resolution not to make any as well. Wise. That way you can't fail, can you? Easy to stick to something that you don't actually make. Kirsty never had any New Year's resolutions. I can understand why people used to. This is your chance to make a difference, but a load of rubbish. Just as long as you don't do anything stupid throughout the year, look after yourself. Try and be as healthy as you can. Try to enjoy things as much as you can. Enjoy life, man. Enjoy it. You only get one of them. As I used to say in my videos, you only get one life, don't throw them away. You've got to make sure you go for it, man. Yeah, Daniel, 4,000. Loads of shorts views, loads of subs. So I must be doing something alright with the shorts. Just need to try and get that working now for the longer form. Although, where are we up to on that now? Oh, 4,090. Christ, that went up quickly, didn't it? 1,290 watch hours, which is still loads, but when you think of 4,000 subs, it's not huge because they're not watching the long form. It's the shorts. Getting thousands and thousands of shorts views. But I'm quite happy with that. My particular brand of idiocy being spread around the world, what more could I ask for? We're all invited to tag along and come and surf. Saf, not a chance. South Africa, that's where great white sharks live. Not a chance you get me surfing anywhere near those bastard lunatics. Same as Australia. No. But obviously the worst thing that can happen to us going out here is having raw effluents and, human excrement floating past you all the time. We don't want that either. But yeah, it is a double-edged sword as well. As I say, the getting loads of views and plenty of watch hour on the shorts, but the watch hours don't count towards your monetization watch hours. But it's just nice. Get out there, let people see my particular take on life. Isn't that where they found the megalodon? I presume you're talking about South Africa and not Southport, Steve. Actually, they hang out in False Bay. That's where the best waves are. Yeah. The waves there are caused by people swimming away from great white sharks, I'm convinced of it. Australia's a bit... I've seen a couple of the sharks. In fact, I think one of them might have been South Africa. I know one of them was definitely Australia. Some of the biggest, maddest great whites caught on camera. It was just scary seeing someone pointing the camera at it. And you could almost see the camera shaking. He was shitting himself. Not good. 3,000 more watch hours to go. Well, it's not even 3,000, is it? It's 2,710. So I'm quite happy with that, and I think if I carry on doing what I'm doing, and I keep doing the live streams especially, we will get to that 4,000. At which point I'll start up the memberships, give everyone a free one, and then we can start spamming the chat with homemade emojis and stuff. Let's see if we can get YouTube absolutely full of potatoes and ninjas. What more can we ask for? Could be Southport, it could be. Doubt it, but it could be. You never know. You had your last shark attack before anyone knew what COVID was. Is that because since then the sharks have been covered in masks? Is that how that works? We need to look at the oceans. We need to look after the oceans for a start, but don't go in there. There's loads of stuff in there that can eat you, can sting you, all kinds of stuff. YouTube's already full of spuds, yes, but not the right ones, Steve, unfortunately. It's full of some stuff. Some bizarre stuff happening. As is Twitch, if anyone's watching on Twitch. That's gone a bit mad as well this year. Just watching a Harris Heller video about it. About what a mad year it's been for streaming in general, but Twitch streaming especially. They had that thing where artistic nudity was going to be allowed, and then it suddenly became like a full-on adult site overnight, which they've had to roll back on and say, no, you can't be doing that now. There's kids on here. Orcas have been patrolling and hunting the sharks. Jesus Christ. How much of a lunatic have you got to be of an animal to start hunting sharks? I mean, that's serious, that, isn't it? Not ninja spuds. There's nowhere near enough ninja spuds. And I can do that. That's a good thing about when you start memberships. You get to make your member tier little, what do you call them? I don't even know what they're called. It's not emojis, but you've got little avatars that you can use as the longer someone's a member, the higher up the ranking they go. So you can have all them as different ones, but you can also just have little emojis that you make yourself that people can throw in the chat, which should be interesting. Loads of little in-jokes that no one else understands, which we're pretty good at, I think. If you look at RDA, we are pretty good at it. So if you're on Twitch, I thought so, mate. I saw my viewing count being huge, being 2. Didn't realise until today, during ETS 21, that you're not allowed to use the St George flag on YouTube. I still haven't got round to watching that today, with my day being taken up with a bit of oral lunacy, so to speak. Didn't sound like that, did it? I'll have to watch that. I didn't realise, no. I'm not a big fan of the St George's flag myself anyway, to be honest. It's a bit plain, and it seems to have been hijacked. Whenever you see a football fan throwing plastic furniture across a European town square, they've always got one of those flags, so, nah. Plus, being from Liverpool, obviously, we don't really get on with the rest of England. Not the people, that's not a problem. It's the people in charge. The establishment. We don't like them. Kirsty put me on the TV as well as the phone to try and help. Fantastic stuff. Do you want national flag, Steve? Yeah, that's fine, mate. Again, I think it's what everyone should be entitled to, is see it as you wish. I'm not a fan of flags at the best of times. I don't understand why people get attached to them. I certainly don't understand the American thing about pledging allegiance to it and fighting for it, and you can't criticise the flag. People start going mad about it. We haven't quite got that far yet, but we're on our way to there. It's just a piece of cloth. You know, as Bill Hicks said, the irony of it, his flag was made in Korea. It's just a piece of, it's a cloth. It's what it represents. That's important. So just don't worry about the flags. I've got a massive Union Jack. just under the table, funnily enough. Came off the back of a ship back in the 1980s, which for some reason I just never got rid of. I should get rid of it, see if I can give it to someone who actually wants it. But yeah, not a fan of flags. Does it count double if it's the same account? I don't think it does, to be honest. Not being shown at the same time, but we can only find out. You never know. There used to be a workaround, sort of a hack. Have any of you ever watched The Spiffing Brit? A very good YouTuber and live streamer who tries to break games and tries to break social media, loves trying to break YouTube especially. And he got all his followers, I think it was 5,000 on a stream. He got everyone to open up multiple windows on the laptops and then keep refreshing them. And at some point he was up to almost 1 million viewers on one stream, I think it was. Or 1 million views on one stream, just because people were pressing refresh all the time. So I don't know if they've managed to fix that or not, but there are ways around it. There are ways of messing around with the algorithm. It's not perfect, obviously. Yes. Shush bot. Questions are being asked. There's loads of mad stuff like that. I mean, you're allowed to watch your own videos once a day, which will help. I think you can watch about 3 or 4 repeats of a short, which is also supposed to help it. So if you can do that, it gives it more of a longer watch percentage, and the higher your watch percentage, the more it then gets pushed to other people on YouTube. So loads of stuff like that will help. Even if the view doesn't count, the fact that the watch hours are on there and it's another like 100% or something, it will help towards getting pushed via Olga. Man, that's a good question. Will you level up quicker? I don't know. You have to ask Botrix that one. I doubt it. I think that would just be the same, because it's coming from the same account. Botrix will just view it as one. You know what he's like. Steve got me on the TV and the iPad. Good. Nice stuff. Let's smash the system. Solidarity. You can't chat via your TV. I haven't checked whether I can yet. I was thinking at some point I was going to get the chat on me big TV over there. Why not make a random 8-minute video and we all watch it on multiple devices and see how quickly we can get it to 10,000 views? We could do that. I'm going to do a video at some point in the next few days, I think. Casper sent me a load of music, as mentioned in the last stream. I'm going to try and put some of his music to a video on my channel with hopefully over 4,000 subs, and then put a link to his channel and to his stuff in the description and see if we can get people going over to him as well, because his stuff's absolutely amazing and he deserves a lot more subs and a lot more views. So we'll see if we can get that one working the next couple of days. Do a driving video, which I would have done this morning on the way to the clinic, but I wasn't thinking straight, man. That's a trip I've done so many times. It's on the way to Goodison. Normally I turn left at the roundabout to go down to where we park up. We turn right this time. It's never been that quiet. Absolutely ridiculous. Sunday morning, New Year's Eve, it was so quiet. A 45-minute journey took less than half an hour, I think. Only counts 4 times a day. Anyone doing 4 times a day, fair play to you. I'll be out of breath after that as well. Yeah, seeing that the Danish Queen abdicated today. Just completely out of the blue. Was it 52 years she's been on the throne? And said, no, that's enough. That's a proper retirement, that. Put your video message out and go, nah, sack it off, man, sack it. Man, do you like the driving videos? You'd watch them multiple times, especially with Casper's music. Well, in that case, he's given me loads of stuff, loads of tunes, and I quite like doing the driving videos. So expect to see a few more of them. I find I watched them myself a couple of times. They are quite chilled, aren't they? just to relax. We put them on a big telly. It's nice not having to concentrate on driving, but seeing the same sort of routes that I've taken. Although I don't have to take my niece anymore. She's driving back there. Car's sorted now, I think. But I used to enjoy them drives of a morning. It's a nice little trip to go. So I think I'll be doing that. Once I get a bit more time as well, which the new year I should have plenty of time. Drive down to Parbold Hill. See if we get some good shots from up there. And some good video on the way there and back. But this is the year 2024. Good things are going to happen. Good things are going to happen. I said this to Casper. Here he is. All right, Casper, mate, how you doing? 2024 is the year that we get Casper loads of more subs and views. Get people, everyone in the community who wants to create, get them getting as many views and subs as we possibly can. We've got some exceptionally talented people in here. Should be doing a lot better than we are. Better than the rubbish on the TV at the moment, absolutely. Apart from, there's been some good videos on today. Videos, films, Jesus. What's wrong with me? I heard my mum and dad watching the Jungle Book live action. It's okay as long as the camera doesn't focus on the window wiper. Yeah, that was didn't quite work out as I wanted it to. So I think the next ones are going to be done with hopefully a window mount, rather than just being stuck on the windscreen, the dashboard. I tried something, it didn't work. It's not getting done again. I have got a decent suction mount for the window, so hopefully the next one should look a bit better. What else? I've also got. Yeah, I've got a GoPro, but I don't think the footage is overly good out of them. My phones are better than the GoPro. And I've got loads of phones, so I'll just stick one of them in the car. Keep it fully charged, and it should be there ready to go every time. You watch The Goonies, fantastic film now. I love that. Hey You Guys, yeah. Hey Casper, followed by Hey You Guys, Steve. Yep. It's a brilliant film as well. It's something that I don't know if my daughter's watched it yet, and she should have done by now. Although she's out tonight, so, you know, she'll be 18 in April. The days of watching kid films are behind her. Saying that, I'm 50 and I'm still watching kids films because that's what Christmas is all about, isn't it? In theory. What was I watching yesterday? I was watching Yes Minister. Watched quite a few episodes of that. Enjoyed it hugely. So well written and performed. I always thought it was a piss take. This government can't possibly be like this. And yet, it is. Having worked for the civil service, it's funny just how much I recognise. It's nearly 3 hours away from being 39 years old. That's not possible. Kirsty's got to find a charger. Ending 2023 as we started it, needing a charger. Yeah. Queen's gone. Is it a king who's next in line? I didn't see that. I just seen the headline earlier. Can't say I'm a fan of royalty. Again, a lot of it is just because of where I'm from. Having to explain to my daughter, the royal family are no better than you at all. They're just lucky that they were born into privilege. Remember that. So be doffing your cap in reverence to them. Not a chance. I forgot my Wolfie, didn't I? I meant to put that as a thing on the thing. Terrible. Found it very, very quick. Happy days. Nice one, Kirsty. That tea is ridiculously hot. I wouldn't have been able to stand that last night. I just about get away with it today. The weather seems to have calmed down slightly for now. But yeah, it must have moved a little bit further north. I had to pick my daughter up a couple of days ago, I think it was. I left the house here, and it was like I was sailing a ship in the middle of the ocean. I had the windscreen wipers on full, and I could barely see out the window. And I got just round the corner from our house, and it was completely calm. No wind, no rain. Dropped her off in town and come home. Still no rain, no wind. Must have just been that 5 minutes that I was out going to hers. Crazy. That's what happens when you live near the coast, as I'm sure Steve will tell you as well. When you get rough days, they are rough days. Yeah, keep chatting to earn points. Points do make potatoes. Yeah, push buttons too. Just try and make sure that I don't, because no matter how hard I try, I always forget to switch one of the buttons off. Yeah, completely opposite views on the monarchy, but still have football to unite us. Exactly the way it should be. We can't all like the same thing. And there is more that unites us than divides us, after all. So it also depends on where you are in the country. The North is not a huge fan of monarchy and of the South in general, because obviously absolutely everything goes towards the London area in particular. And we're all left in the shit up here. No trains. You'll know yourself from Norwich. Norfolk, rather, there's no trains around there either. So that's how most of the North is. And all the money seems to go towards a place where they already make enough. You had horizontal lightning the other night. It's mad, isn't it? Purple lights, yep. Nice bit of purple. I've still got my obsession with lights. I almost bought another one the other day. Didn't quite get round to it. I might have to get one. I'll order one tomorrow or Tuesday. Disco Captain Barbican observing quickly variable discs. I was thinking that myself. Yeah, love purple. It's my favourite colour. Which everyone would assume it to be royal blue, but no. Norfolk's a big royalist county because of Sandringham. Yeah, I suppose that's if they're there and they actually visit you and they are known to people, they show you your face, then fair enough. But obviously, the government, the royals, do not give a shit about the North. We're just a pain to them. Despite the fact that huge amounts of massively wealthy people live up here as well. Musicians and footballers and things like that. Paying massive amounts of tax. Now, there you go. That's the UK for you. It is a collection of nations divided and a collection of nations divided in themselves. Each one has got their own little issues with each other. I mean, geez, Liverpool's got its problem with itself. But we tend to stick together against anyone else, which is what I don't mind, actually. You take on one of us, you take us all on. The royals are often seen around the county this time of year. Yeah. That, I suppose, would make it slightly different anyway. You actually see them. They bother their arse to go and visit where you live. They don't with us. Possibly because most people that come here from there just get barracked anyway. You're leaving us to go to shit. Don't come here for a photo opportunity. But that's just the way it is. Bruce Hornsby gets a mention every week, doesn't he? Jesus, that is hot. When I say hot, I mean it's made with boiling water. Of course, it's bloody hot. I've still got to make sure I have a drive around Norfolk at some point with the camera on, looking out the window, properly out the window. That'd be nice. It looks a great place. It's supposed to be a firework or two when William gets inaugurated. I would think so. When's our next match? That's a good question. I think the next home game is against Villa. Oh, hang on, sorry. Sorry, Mandy. We've got the FA Cup game, haven't we? Yeah, 4th of January, FA Cup away at Palace. Sunday the 14th of January at home against Aston Villa. So I should be going to that one, I think. Buttons, why aren't buttons working? Yeah, so it's similar to what I showed. That's one of the reasons why I'd like to actually go and have a bit of a look, see what it's like. It looked similar from what I'd seen just on TV shows and what have you. Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex, parts of Essex look similar as well. We have got some really pretty parts of this country and no one ever mentions it. Just the silly little things about going for a drive, just even outside the cities. Where I am, we're in a town just north of Liverpool, but all that little area around Liverpool, Maghull, Southport looks fantastic. It's not that far away. And then watching Shifting Metal, who's a car channel. He's in Somerset, and some of the roads that he drives down, testing cars and what have you, looks very much similar to where I live as well, even though it's miles away. Villa should be a good game. Depends on what Villa turns up, and it depends on what Everton turns up, by the sound of it. Please visit Horsey Wind Pump. Yes, that would have to be done. That's one of those things where if anyone goes down there, they're going to have to go and see that place and film it and stick it on the channel. Has to be done. Cape Town City FC is second in the table, 6 points off the leaders. You've now got a month-long football break. Oof. Good place to be, second. Right behind them. Putting pressure on them. A month-long football break though, man. Not great when you're in that kind of form or you're doing well. You need to carry that momentum on. Yeah, what is the obsession with Horsey? Apart from the name, obviously. It just sounds like a kind of place where magic could happen. In fact, it sounds like the kind of place where Willy Wonka would have a factory in Horsey Wind Pump. Right, the leaders are the current African champions. Oh, man. So, you're up against a good team there by the sound of it. You work for the National Trust and you recommended it to everyone and you just like saying it. Nothing wrong with that. Some places have great names. Nether Wallop. It sounds like a good place. I like the old-fashioned English names. There's some really, really weird ones. But isn't that the kind of country we are? Got so many different influences in language, which means that the towns and villages have weird names as well. Windmills are the future, as well as being the past at the same time. There's a nice one I drove past earlier on, one in Innswoods, between Liverpool and Formby. Lovely looking windmill. I don't think there's it's got the sails on it anymore that work. And it's been turned into a house. Twee buffels meteen schoten doodgeschiet fontein. There's a place in South Africa. Twee buffels, that's 2 buffaloes. Meteen shot and shot dead fountain. Is that just known by locals as twee buffels? Don't think I'd be saying that every time. Imagine putting that into your sat nav. Turn left for... I'll be there before it even said the word. Horsey Beach has a huge colony of seals. Horsey seals. Seal horses. There's another, I've mentioned this before on a previous stream, Henry Turner, the photographer. He was down in, I think it was Cornwall, and he was having a look around, and where he went to there was like a cliff edge that you could peek over, and it said be really quiet because there's seals down here as well. We're having a sleep. So just look over and there's loads of these massive things just sat off, sunning themselves, enjoying it. And you don't think of stuff like that, but there's seals all around the UK, isn't there? There's also, we have sharks all around the UK, whales. That's whales, the mammal, the swimming mammal thing. Not just Wales, the country, they are everywhere. We have got some fantastic wildlife, which we are trying to kill every day by pumping human shite into every piece of water that we can. Evils, they've renamed it already. Not Drie Buffels now, is it? So Mandy, what were you doing with the National Trust? What was your job with them? National Trust seems like a kind of job that'd be pretty chilled, wouldn't it? Which you're probably going to now tell us it was an absolute nightmare full of lunatics. People getting shivved in Speak Hall. You're on the phones. Alright. In False Bay there's an island called Seal Island, and guess what lives in the waters around it? Sharks. Yes, I have seen that. I have seen, was it Blue Planet or one of those programs which went to Seal Island and said, of course, it's like having a takeaway or a drive-through. Crazy. South Africa obviously also having penguins. Between Horsey and Blakeney Point, which are about 40 miles apart, there are about 20,000 seals. I did not realise that. That's a hell of a lot of seals in not a large area. I suppose it's handy for them because it's fairly flat, I would have thought. You haven't got those massive cliffs that you have, you know, or over in the cliffs of Moher and Ireland and places like that. You can get onto the land a bit easier. Those sharks actually jump out the water. Yep, I've seen the massive, huge great whites jumping out the water in South Africa. That was one of the BBC did a program, a three-part series rather, called Shark, and one of the things they did was great whites in South Africa, and they built a fake seal just so these things would come from beneath and try and attack it, and it's the air it was getting, this massive huge shark still getting massive air as well. Takes some doing that. Looked amazing. Yep, since the rise in numbers of seal on the Norfolk coast, have started spotting orcas now and again. You will do if you allow the, sort of the food chain to fix itself. Then you will start seeing them more and more. In the same way, the seals must be there because there's more fish. So if we have not overfished and allowed the seals to thrive, the orcas will thrive, and then more and more balances the ecosystem. And we need more and more of that. The world needs balance, man. I am all about balance. Probably because I didn't have any when I come out of hospital. Makes you realise what you haven't got. They are mad sharks, aren't they? When you look at them, there's nothing to them. They are just a massive chunk of muscle and teeth, and they haven't changed for millions of years. Absolutely perfectly developed. Overnight work of pen magic. Sounds interesting. No, I'm not going to start singing The Circle of Life. Not a chance. You're not getting me singing. Not until my voice comes back. One of the strange things, again, I think I mentioned this the other day, didn't I? Since the stroke, I can't really sing anymore, and I'm nowhere near as good with my accents or impressions. Gutted. Absolutely gutted, man. That's going to have to come back. It's part of who I am. It's me thing. It's me oeuvre. It's me raison d'etre. Got to keep my eye on my phone. In case my daughter decides to go from the social club somewhere else. I need to know where she is. She said, what did she say earlier on? She might be going into town, so don't forget, it's New Year's Eve. If you can get a taxi, it'll be 3 or 4 times the normal price, if you can get one. She goes, oh, don't worry, I'll use Taxi Dad until you go to sleep. I said, well, now that you say that, I'm not going to sleep, am I? I'm going to make sure you get home safe. But because of what's happened the last couple of days, I might just collapse on the bed anyway. I can see that happening. Exhaustion, man. And I've got loads of drugs and things in the house, loads of drugs. Paracetamol, Cocosamol, lad. Ibuprofen, clove oil. Oragel. A lot of it, man. None of it works when you've got like that. You have to practice singing. It's your muscle. Your singing muscle. Yeah, part of my exercises. At some point I will do, but I'm also still worried about my head as well. Nowadays, I used to get headaches when I was young, especially when I was sort of 17, 18. And then I didn't really get them too often. I used to get migraines. And I didn't get them too often. And then I did, as I got older, start getting them occasionally, which I put down to probably a little bit of dehydration, especially after having a few beers the night before or a few wines. If you don't rehydrate, you can wake up with a headache the following day. But now I can't just get a headache. As soon as I get one, I start thinking back to the day where I had the stroke. It's even though it's more than likely not going to be something like that again, it's just so linked in my head. This is what I was doing. I went to get water and I went to get paracetamol because I thought I had a little bit of a headache, and then I was chewing coffee table within seconds. Your last message didn't come up. Shit, which one was that? We've got YouTube being weird again with the messages. This seems to be working alright as well, so I was hoping that that'd be fine. Don't think this one missed anything, so YouTube being an absolute knob yet again. Migraines suck. Yeah, dude. Totally suck. I mean, when I was 17 or 18, I stopped drinking milk. I used to drink loads of milk and I stopped doing that and then stopped eating chocolate. And I didn't get any for ages after that. And then by the time I did occasionally get one, I thought it was down to more stress. Not sleeping right, a little bit of pressure. But again, I've not had one in ages. And then the headache that I had last year, it just felt like a normal headache. I didn't sleep well, so I'm feeling a little bit tired. Water and paracetamol, and I'll be able to carry on working. And no, that was not the case. Yeah, he didn't see it. Blame Jeff. I would blame Jeff for most of the world's ills at the moment. In fact, while we're talking about Jeff, let's have some Tales from the Crypt with Jeff. Felt cute, might delete later. Very nice, looking gorge. Making a late play to win the darts, let's see them stop me. I don't think I'd stop him if he turned up looking like that. Christmas party recycling, it got very Lionel. Lionel? Oh, Messi, very Lionel Messi. Ah, right. Hoo-yah! I can imagine one of Jeff's parties got very messy. Doesn't seem the kind of thing where there'd be people playing chess wearing brown jumpers. No. He's what me nan would have called a shady get. Just a message about a photographer called Chris Taylor and his YouTube channel about his films on the Norfolk coast. Right, let's go and find him. I want to see these. Actually, one of my favourite things to watch nowadays on YouTube is photography and filmmaking. And it's great when they go out, not only showing you what pictures they take, but they're showing you the surrounding areas as they're doing it. It's absolutely amazing. Chris Taylor photo, is that him? Travel films, tourism, promotional videos, commercial storytelling, and coastal films from around the world. Based in North Norfolk, UK. Right, that's him. Subbed and indeed scribed. Yep, I'll be checking him out. I love stuff like that. That's why Henry Turner's been good lately, because he's been travelling all around the UK and then just having a little bit of a wander, showing you what the place is like and then saying this looks like a good place to take a picture, showing you how he takes the picture and then the result afterwards. Learning so much. Not that I'm really going to be able to do much. I've got my cameras, but whenever I take pictures with them, it doesn't look anything like they do. But I can learn. I like the idea of going out and going for a drive and getting some good pictures, not just decent ones and this is where I went, ones that look, make the UK look as nice as it can do, because it is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous place. Gorgeous, oh, it's gorgeous. I did put the link to this on Twitter, X and Blue Sky. Anyone who's bored shitless with seeing Jules Holland ruin people's songs by playing boogie woogie piano over it, and is sick of seeing Ruby Turner every year, come and join us. You never know. We might have people join us at some point. Jeff keeps increasing the points you need to level up to. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. You big blue bastard. He's been working with the Sheringham Shantymen on his latest films. I'm presuming by shanty it's a vocal group. I'll be checking that out. That looks fantastic, mate. Just look at just even opening it up on his page. Seeing some of the stuff that's on there. Looks fantastic. There you go, the seals of Blakeney Point, as you mentioned. Yes, he will be getting watched. I'm always looking for stuff like that, so I'm pleased you've given me that one. Very pleased. Thea says hi everyone. Oh, brilliant. Hi back to Thea and a happy new year. Hope she's doing well. Jeez. Jenny, I made that about an hour and a half, 2 hours before the stream, and it's still burning me bastard face off. No es bueno. He goes diving on the chalk fields off the coast. I would like to see that. Definitely like to see that. Especially with being a part of the country where I've never really been. When I say never really been, I mean I've never actually been. I've not seen too much of it. The bits I have seen I do like. So I wouldn't mind seeing a bit more of that. It's a hell of a place to get to from where I live. So it'd be nice seeing that. But there's still no excuse for not getting to the Lake District, North Wales, the Peak District. I want to go to that place in Derbyshire in the Peak District with the plane crash, but it just left the plane where it was, and it's a strange but a nice little I don't know, a resting place for them. This is what happens, and just leave it. Do not do anything bad to the place. Treat it with the reverence it deserves. I think it's nice that you can show how dangerous the life can be, etc. What's a chalk feel? Feels nothing. I'll let you know how I get on with that. In fact, I'll have to look for a few more things like that, a few more accounts. I watched that David Attenborough thing about Britain. He's always going around the world showing you how gorgeous the rest of the world is. And then it's never the UK. And then he done that one series in the UK, and it was all done with super high-tech cameras and stuff, and the place just looked stunning. Go to the cheese rolling and meet up with EB. Not sure me on a hill with my balance would be a good idea. Or whether EB would even recognise me. I've got a fireworks display on the pier at Cromer tomorrow evening, and he films it with a drone. That's definitely worth watching. I will be checking that one out as soon as he posts it. Chalk Reef, yep. I just thought chalk fields might have been a local dialect for chalk reef, yep. It's nice as well that people are actually proud of where they come from and are willing to share it. Because there'd be loads of places in this country that, unless you had to be there, there's a good chance that you'd never really even know that it's there. Or you recognise it on a map, that's about it. But having the likes of YouTube, it's a bit more easy to share things nowadays, I think. Even, I suppose, my driving video, I'm in the northwest. I'm just down the road from Liverpool. It's not just a concrete city. Just outside the place, there's also proper farmland. Trying to type faster than you can, Steve. No problem with that. It's, speeding up your thumb muscle. Working on that. That's what we like to see. You'll know me by name. I'm not sure he will. I don't think I'm on too many people's radar apart from our little community. And loads of Indonesian and Filipino shorts watchers. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to miss that laugh, would you? Or the beard. never know. I might even be in a slightly better position at that point, where I can get out a bit more and maybe meet up with people. This time next year, kippers will be millionaires. Oh, hello. Is it you two, is it? How about Horace? How about me? We're not included in this. And how are you going to be millionaires? You worry me, Jeff. Certainly worry me. Yep. Very only fools and horses. Only bears and demons. If he starts calling himself Jeff Boy, we're in trouble. EB has got a laugh that you can hear before you see him, without a shadow of a doubt. Has Jeff got an old watch? Everything about Jeff is old. We still can't work out how much. Oh, Mandy, you've leveled up to level 17. See? Your moaning and whinging has paid off. He's allowed you to level up. As our Jeff. Yeah, he might have an old watch. It would be good to have a meet up if the boys come over, both of them. And also, hopefully, there'll be enough people as well who are in the community that when Spencer comes over to begin with, to be able to look after him and make sure that he's getting to see where he needs to see. Not getting ripped off, not getting the piss taken out of him. I thought you were quite restrained, Mandy. You were moaning about it in the last stream as well. Jeff's finally given in and allowed you to level up. Oh, there we go. Blade fireworks. Starting early, aren't they? Am I going to meet Spencer in Liverpool? I'm not sure. I speak to Daniel quite a lot. I don't really speak to Spencer, so I don't think, again, I think he recognises the name from the chats, but don't know him that well. But you never know. Might meet up and point him in the right direction. Although if you're in Liverpool, you're already in the right direction. If you're a musician, music fan, there's not many better places you can go to. Because there's a nice little beat combo from Liverpool called the Beatles, who are relatively well regarded. Remember, I had a friend come over from America and made sure they were getting shown around the place. Take them to the right places, not just the normal places where you get ripped off all the time. And one of the places was got in a taxi and deliberately went the wrong way up Penny Lane so you couldn't see where we were going. And then got off and got on the roundabout in the middle. And just said, have a look, where are we now? No idea. We're behind the shelter in the middle of a roundabout. And then you can see the face light up. I went, look there. There's the Chippy. There's the Barbers. The fire station's just down the road. And just seeing someone absolutely blown away by the fact that Penny Lane is not just a normal place, an actual place. There's the roundabout. There is a shelter. All the stuff they sing about, it's there. Crazy. Just seeing the face. It was wonderful that. I enjoyed that. Yeah, don't think he's heading your way, apart from Moneylands. At some point, though, people have got to come over and not go to the same places. Just don't always head for the same. It's that everyone always seems to land in London and think that's the UK. We know it isn't. You could take them to the parts that other tubers never go to. That sounds far too kinky, that, Mandy. As long as Spencer doesn't go to L4. Well, it depends on whereabouts in L4, to be fair. Like, Goodison Park's in L4. and that's not going to be around for too much longer. L44EL is the postcode. Although it is rough as fuck, jeez, it's horrible. Friends of ours used to have a pub just round the corner from the ground, and we'd always go in there and see them. And then as the years went by, the place just got more and more rough. Just in there at 7 o'clock after a match, and there's people snorting drugs off the tables. Someone tried to trip me up on the way out, and if I'd have fell over, I'm pretty sure 4 or 5 of them would have given me a proper kicking. As it was, I just managed to get me balance together and kept on walking. Don't look back. Horrible. The red side of L4, yeah. The horrible side of L4. I don't watch Stump Peg, bizarrely. I've seen in me feed quite a lot, but never actually got around to watching any of the videos. Any good? Definitely more to the UK than London. There is. I mean, London is fantastic, and if you're going to go to the UK, it's a good place to start off because you can get yourself lost, and there's loads more recognisable things there. But I mean, you're not going to see Stonehenge, are you? You're not going to see the Yorkshire Dales if you just go to London. You know, the White Cliffs of Dover. Stand on there and see France over the horizon. All that kind of stuff. You're not going to see any of it if you just stay in the one place. So I've got loads of mates from all around the world who love coming over, and they always stay in London. Just do yourself a favour at least once or twice. Get out. Go somewhere else. Makes the best football content. In that case, I will definitely give Air a try as well. A lot of football stuff I won't watch, just because most of it I've seen so far has been utter shite. But I'll take your tastes very seriously, so I'll give that a watch, mate. Just a shame YouTube wasn't as much of a thing years ago when I first started the channel. I mean, my channel was 2006 when it started. It's just because I had an Android phone, so you automatically get a Google login which gives you a YouTube channel. And my first videos were 2009, I think. But we could have made loads of stuff back then. Loads of videos going to watch the footy, loads about going on away trips. Yeah, Mandy, give that channel a miss. Wise move. Where did Mark Bowen have his fatal car crash? That was in London, wasn't it? Somewhere. Can't remember exactly where, but he was driving a Mini. And his biggest hit of all time was that tree, unfortunately. Far too young. Loves the lower leagues and Scandinavian football. Well, I'll definitely be watching that because the Premier League is an absolute cesspit. And it's ruining what should be a fantastic game. Lower leagues, got far more time for that. Although I've lived here now for almost 33 years, I've never been to see Southport yet. And the stadium is literally just over there. You can hear them on match days. Even with just 1,000 people, you can hear them. You can see the lights overnight. You can see the lights from the bathroom upstairs. It's literally just at the back of the hospital. We have to stop calling the hospital a hotel because it's not a bloody hotel. Nothing like an hotel. I don't know a huge amount about Scandinavian footy either, which I should do. I know loads about the Dutch league, obviously, German. La Liga, Spain, watching that for years. Don't like the Italian leagues, never have done. Apart from when the 3 Dutchmen were at AC Milan. Scandinavian football, it should be far more interesting. Strange names that you only ever see in Europa League games and different sponsors. I always like that, you know. seeing people with different sponsorships rather than just the usual same rubbish over and over again. They've always got mad, huge sponsors logos on crazy kits as well. If it was on ice, you might watch. I would think some of the Tromsø games in northern Norway might be on ice. I know when my dad played, he played in Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark, Poland. Been to all kinds of places. Even though he wasn't the greatest in the world, he's lived a life because of it. Stopped off in Anchorage Airport in Alaska on the way to Japan. That's where he saw the stuffed polar bear and said it was scary how big they are. Seen the Northern Lights while he was playing, just in the background. They were on there. Mad. She goes to weird European derby games. I like weird European derby games. Definitely gonna have to watch that. What's my dad's name? His name is Billy Ashcroft. Used to play for Wrexham, Middlesbrough, FC20 and then Tranmere. On my channel there's a few videos of him scoring plenty of goals. And as a result, we've been lucky. That's why I speak Dutch. We lived over there for 3 years. Even though it's not that far away, it was enough to be in a different culture, a slightly different culture, to learn a language, to learn what it's like being an outsider in someone else's country as well. I learned a lot being there, and I think I've become a better person as a result. Yeah, the documentary is well worth watching. Although I'm disappointed, Steve, that you called it his documentary, as the last few people have mentioned it as my documentary with him in it. I think it's ridiculous to hear, but yeah, it was interesting to be a part of that, to see the process of how it was made. Really interesting. The drone shots at the start make Southport look fantastic. But yeah, I thought I was going to get some great tips on how to make fantastic videos, and then all I've learned is buy a big light and have an interesting life. Yeah, funny, after all those years of not wanting to appear on camera, all of a sudden I've not only got a YouTube channel where I'm quite happy live streaming to the world, I've also appeared on a Dutch documentary. He was top scorer at FC20. He was in the second season he was there. 21 goals, which wasn't bad going. There was no one else like him at the time. Dutch teams didn't have old-fashioned British centre forwards, battering ram centre forwards. They didn't know how to deal with him. They used to call him the crazy Englishman. The documentary name is called Driven. So you put in YouTube Billy Ashcroft Driven, you'll find the documentary on there. I played a leading role in it, bringing some much needed glamour. Really interesting making that. The fellow who did it as well, a fellow called Dirk, is an absolutely superb man. He's married to a Dutch radio presenter. Knows his stuff inside out. He is a legend at Wrexham and at Middlesbrough. He got his name read out at one of the Middlesbrough games recently, saying he's not been too well, so can everyone send thoughts and prayers and applause and what have you, and he got his name sung. Despite the fact that he left Middlesbrough in 1982, he's still thought of warmly there. He still goes and does the after dinner speaking at Wrexham. He had a beer named after him, Billy's Brew. Billy's Brew it was called, at Wrexham. So it's something that, for me, it's a huge sense of pride. Seeing that after all these years, people still remember him. And not just remember him, but remember him really fondly as well. And the fact that he talks to anybody. He's on Facebook all the time talking to fans. Someone at Middlesbrough asked him if he'd do an hour-long Q&A session That's what they do with some of the ex-players. And he said, yeah, no worries. And he was on there for about 6 or 7 hours, just having a few glasses of wine, answered every single question. They're not used to having people who are willing to do that. And he said, these are the people that paid my wages. So why would I not want to speak to them? Welcome back, Casper. Yeah, Bob Mortimer's favourite player. Yeah, he's mentioned him a couple of times, which, considering how much we love Bob Mortimer in this house, it goes down very well. Bob mentioned him on Football Focus one morning. They said to him, asked him a few questions, said, have you got anything else to say? He said, yeah, I wouldn't mess with Billy Ashcroft. And then that was it. That was the end of the interview. I think Bob was there probably just a couple of years, maybe a year or two after my dad left. Because he knows some of the same people that were still there. He mentions them quite a lot. That was good living in Middlesbrough as well. The same country, still in England, but it's a different place. And it was nice just to be somewhere else. You know, it was just a slightly different way of living, different accent. And another place that's nowhere near as bad as people make out. If you get a chance to go and try the place called Rosebery Topping. Yeah, it is, Casper. Fantastic. Yeah, the Christmas gone fishing. I watched that. Absolutely superb. It's boss just seeing two fellas who are funny, just sitting off, chatting shit with each other. Bob's calendar was fantastic. Love that. So funny. I'm always annoyed as well that the BBC iPlayer, they never show any, there's no Reeves and Mortimer stuff on there, is there? There's no Shooting Stars or Bang Bang or The Smell of Reeves and Mortimer. None of it is ever on there at all. House of Fools isn't even on there. I don't get why. I mean, Channel 4 has got Vic Reeves' Big Night Out. If you want to watch that on the app, you can watch that. But none of the other stuff is on there. And it's some incredibly funny stuff as well. So if anyone from BBC is watching, get their stuff back on the iPlayer now. Yeah, Arabella Weir. Another fantastic comic actress. Brilliant in The Fast Show. And Claire Grogan, of course, who anyone of my age will remember very, very fondly, from Gregory's Girl especially. You're not sure if you saw this year's or last year's one. This year's was on, was it a couple of nights ago? I can't remember what it was, just a couple of nights ago I think it was. It'll be on the iPlayer now. It's a Hogmanay one up in Scotland. So if you've not watched it, it's well worth watching on iPlayer. Yeah, Friday night it was, wasn't it? Scotland was looking absolutely stunning as well, has to be said. The one of the places where they stayed, man, I've never seen a view like it in my life. You'd think it'd be Canada or something, just gorgeous by a lake. Utterly beautiful. Gutted this year as well, there was no Inside Number 9 Christmas special. I was looking for that, nowhere to be seen. So apart from Bob and Paul, there's been very little to watch, apart from old stuff. The Two Ronnies, Morecambe and Wise, Porridge, it's all old stuff. Queen Mary's Lodge, that was the one. That looks absolutely amazing. You can tell it was made for the Queen. Yeah, the one you watched, that old recount. No, that was the Norwegian one. That would have been, is that 2 years ago? No, so it won't be the latest one at all. But that was still good as well. All their stuff is, to be honest. It's nice again seeing, getting to see parts of the country that, unless you are a fisherman and are quite happy to travel, you won't see. There's no way on earth I'd have seen Queen Mary's Lodge unless it was for them too. Some of the other places that they've stayed, just it's absolutely amazing. Detectorists is a bit like that as well. If anyone's seen that sitcom about metal detectorists, I think a lot of that's filmed in Essex, so it's not far from where Steve is. That same sort of kind of, I suppose, the same kind of land, isn't it? Nice and flat lands, loads of farms. Dead relaxed pace, something good to chill out to. So again, I love watching Bob and Paul and Detectorists, anything like that, where if you've had a rough day or there's been loads happening, you don't want to have something that's too hyperactive jumping out the screen at you. Just something where you can see there's a butterfly flying away and the sound of birds in the background. Brilliant. I suppose that's where the repair shop also comes in handy, watching stuff like that as well. That nice relaxed vibe. Not so flat, more rolling hills, yeah. But it looks, just from watching the TV series Detectorists, it looks really, really nice. And again, just not that far away from London, not that far away from the big cities, and you can get there within 20-minute drive or something, and you're in the middle of the country. It's fantastic. I think we need to, all of us in this country especially, need to get out more. Enjoy the fact that we've got a country that is gorgeous. Don't just stick to the motorways and for work, constantly up and down, without ever getting anywhere. I spent years, I suppose, the only places I'd ever go to was watching football. So you can travel the length and breadth of the country, you never get to see anything apart from a Wetherspoons pub, then a football stadium and a train on the way home, that's it. Alright, tomorrow, well worth it, Mandy, well worth it. You might have to wait until next year to watch it, but yeah, definitely do it. It's worth it just for seeing that Queen Mary's place. Oh man, gorgeous. He's stunning, man. Plus, New Year's Day tomorrow is going to be utter shit, isn't it? Let's have a guess what's going to be on. Escape to Victory, by any chance, or no, Escape to Telemark was Heroes to Telemark was today, wasn't it? And The Great Escape was on last week, so it's going to have to be Escape to Victory or My Fair Lady. Something rubbish like that. Cirque du Soleil. Your dad was a big fan of the scenic route. Then it's to his credit. You see more when you do the scenic route. It might take you longer, but what do you want to see? The back of an Eddie Stobbart truck, or do you want to see some beautiful places? Tonight, dinner for one on TV. I haven't even looked what's on tonight, you know, because it's always the same. Plus I knew I'd be spending time with all you wonderful, wonderful people. But it is Jules Holland. Gregory Porter's normally on it, Ruby Turner. Used to be great, but it's utter shit nowadays. Britain's favourite something will be on. Here we go, 5. Yeah, Britain's favourite karaoke. Nah, you're alright. Party songs, bullshit. Oh, The Producers is on BBC 4. Which version is it? Oh, it's the Mel Brooks 1967, The Producers, on BBC 4 tonight. Gene Wilder and Zero Mostel. Fantastic film. Rick Astley's on tonight, is he? He'll never let you down. Good lad is Rick. Yeah, this is how bad Jules is. He's joined by a variety of musical guests. They're not even telling you nowadays because people just look at it and go, oh, not that prick again. Yeah, Rick's making a comeback, isn't he? After all those years of just being Rick-rolled, he appears with the Foo Fighters and now all of a sudden he's back in the nation's conscious. Not bad for a T-boy from Newton Llewellows, is it? Done well for himself. I can only assume he's had loads of money in the hair gel business. Dave Grohl absolutely loves him, doesn't he? Oh, Rod Stewart is on, is he? Is he still doing his Great American Songbook stuff? The boy can sing. Rick or Rod? Mind you, they both can. Rick can definitely burst out a tune. I know he did Never Gonna Give You Up with the Foo Fighters. I was listening to Dave Grohl's audiobook and he was talking about that. He said he realised that Never Gonna Give You Up is the same sort of chord structure as Smells Like Teen Spirit. So the band was messing around playing that, having a laugh in the warm-up. And then when he looked at the side of the stage, Rick Astley was there and he just walked over to him during a song and went, do you fancy singing Never Gonna Give You Up? We only learned it earlier on. Yet no worries, just jumped out on stage in front of a rock audience. I said Rick never missed a beat. Absolutely nailed it. That's when you know someone can sing and knows what they're doing. But yeah, Rod Stewart can sing as well. If he's just stopped doing his that 70s period, late 70s period, was bloody awful. If you heard him with the Jeff Beck group, he was superb. They do a cover version of All Shook Up by Elvis, like a more bluesy version, and Rod's voice is absolutely incredible. Rick did some Foo Fighters acoustic during lockdown, did he? I never saw that. I like that he's got mates with just people that you would never expect to be mates with Rick Astley, the Foo Fighters, but Dave Grohl apparently is a boss fella and he likes stuff like that. Go ahead, Rick. Deserves it. Kanye, your mum's a massive fan. We do produce some good singers, or singists, in this country, don't we? Plenty of them. I think I need to do another podcast, don't I? I haven't done one in ages. I might do another one of with voices that I absolutely love. I really enjoyed making that episode. And it's one of those playlists that I haven't deleted off Spotify. I normally get to a point where I've recorded that, so I delete the playlists. Kept hold of that one because I love it so much. Young Turks is your favourite Rod Stewart song? Very nice. An unusual version, or unusual choice rather. Rod Stewart just reminds you of the Kenny Everett sketch. Same here. Every time I see him, Kenny's arse getting bigger and bigger. I love Kenny Everett. That's on his show's on 171. That's TV, it's called. Loads of 70s and 80s random TV shows are on there. Worth watching. I don't know if it's on Freeview or just Sky, but absolutely superb. The Kenny Everett video show, I remember watching that with my mum and dad when I was, how old would I have been at the time, 7 or 8, and laughing my head off completely. Even though hot gossip were on it, they were a little bit near the knuckle, weren't they, with how they were dressed. Just watching a Cupid stunt, you couldn't get away with that nowadays, could you? Gizzard puke. Brilliant, so funny. Sid Snot. Oh, man. The inflatable arse is just, isn't it superb? I also loved him when he was doing the BearGees. Always did that brilliant. Oh, officially midnight in South Africa. Saf, Happy New Year, mate. All the best. Great. Great stuff. So we've got you first, and then we've got Casper will be next. And then the rest of us. There's no way on this earth I'm going to be up till 5 o'clock like Kev did last time. I don't know how he managed to do that. Bloody hell. I mean, I suppose live streaming's not overly taxing, is it, compared to like going and doing a job at the coalface, but after a couple of hours, yeah, I can always feel it anyway. Going till 5, I don't know how he's managed. Kev, fair play to you, mate. No, not another hour to go. They're slightly further ahead than Central Europe. It's mad seeing all the New Zealand and Australian, everyone wishing each other Happy New Year when, excuse me, you're still eating your breakfast. How on earth? You're out, tired as hell. I absolutely get that, mate. Thank you very much for turning up anyway. Always appreciated. Go and get your head down, and Happy New Year. Hope 2024 works out great for you and Cape Town win that league. Up the blue and golds. Come on. We can do this. Yeah. Stay safe and be good. One or the other. You can't do both. Yep. I'll go as long as I can. Don't overdo it. Is that from you, Steve, or is that my ex-wife been talking to you? Yeah. I'm going to try and get to midnight. If I can't, I can't. If I can, I can. I am of that opinion as well, Steve. Just nowadays, being able to get on here at all is great compared to where I was. So I'm not going to push myself. But I'm feeling okay at the moment. I may need to go for a pee at some point because I've got a bladder the size of a Teddy's chocolate orange. Alcohol mainly, and his brother took over for a bit. There you go. Which I haven't got, have I? I am less than 2 hours away from doing an entire calendar year alcohol free. My last accidental alcoholic beer was in November 2022, and before that it was the 29th of August 2022. You know, not that it's stuck in my mind, but I haven't missed it. A couple of times I've thought about it, but what's the point? And when the dental nurse today gave me a leaflet to read and some swabs in case I started bleeding a bit later on, she asked all the questions. Do you smoke? No. Do you drink? No. And I could genuinely look her in the eye and say, no, I don't. I might not be teetotal for the rest of my life, but what's the point in trying to rush back to it? If I can get through a full year without really trying hard, why not keep going? But if I fancy having a drink at some point, I will do. And I won't be embarrassed or bothered by it. I just, at the moment, I don't see the need for it. So yeah, it is something well done, I think. And I am definitely ending the year better than I started. And again, I'm not going to try and say it's going to be a New Year's resolution or a mantra, but I think it's not a bad way of looking at things. If you can finish the last day of the year better than the first day that you came into it, you'll have done okay. Whether that's with subscribers and watch hours or with your health, whichever bit you want to take from it. As long as if you're happier, if you've got rid of something out of your life that was causing you an issue, anything, as long as you start off the next year and improve and improve and improve. And just going back and looking at some of my old videos, I can see the improvements just in looking at me. I don't slur my words anywhere near as much as I used to. I've still got an issue which someone kindly brought up on a YouTube video. the way sometimes my lips smack through the microphone. It's because I've still got a problem with some of the stroke side of things, but it's much better than it used to be. And I still get tired. I do get fatigued, but I think I've improved in that way as well, with the fatigue side of things. Push yourself a little bit all the time. Don't push too far. Your dreams are China in your hand. Sitting here watching me with the iPad on your lap. Helen's knitting a friend a blanket. And Ruby has the worst wind ever, she thinks. Is that Ruby the dog or Ruby Turner on Jules' Hootenanny? We need to know these things. More knitting on the channel as well. The knitting is going well this year on this channel. Lots of skillful knitting. I've improved so much from the start of the year, definitely. Absolutely. Well, I started this year with, well, you can't see it now because it's hidden around the corner, my walking stick. And I don't use the walking stick now, not unless I've got a very, very long way to go and I know I'm going to be tired. I'm not slurring my words. I can hold my hand up. That's sore today, that actually. I can wave. I can flick the V's. So there's a lot more going on with that. I don't have to pick it up with my other hand. I can lift it by itself. I can almost punch a traffic warden. Not that I would. Oh, I don't need to, do I? I've got a blue badge. But there you go, it's still a little bit. Still shaking a little bit today. Again, I am tired. Through not sleeping the last couple of days. But it's a huge improvement. And if anyone was watching that is going through an illness, you just got to push yourself. Got to believe. Listen to what you're being told by the healthcare people around you. And take help and assistance from anyone who's willing to offer it to you. Happy with the balaclava. I bought the baklava as well. The balaclava does look fantastic. It was like looking at a passport photo. Has Heather been on the RDA much over the festive period? She has been on. She's was going for a walk this morning, wasn't she? A hike. A very, very damp hike by the look of it. I know she's going around to see friends. That was on RDA earlier on. But there's a few people who are missing from RDA lately, who we need to reach out for and say a Happy New Year to. Well, Thea mentioned earlier on, obviously, Kirsty's been talking to her. So, yeah. Yeah, definitely not alone. She's been in and about the RDA. And there's always, even first thing in the morning, there's always someone around to chat. Especially Saf being a couple of hours ahead. She gets up early every morning. Cause I've seen a few times when I've had to get up and drop Jess somewhere. Hedwig is normally one of the first people on there, and Saf's normally awake, so there's always someone there to say hello. Which I think there is at any time of the day normally. There's always someone somewhere who's willing to jump in the chat. You haven't been in there today? I haven't been in there much myself either, but then it has been a bit of a weird day. And I will say, genuinely, the NHS dental crisis that we've got is ridiculous. It's stupid that people can't get an NHS dentist. But fair play to them. I just sent a little thing last night because I was in so much pain that they rang me back at 8 o'clock this morning and I was getting seen to at 9:45. That NHS, absolutely amazing. I hate the fact that it's going to get sold off, even though it's not theirs to sell, and we'll all end up having to get insurance and everything's going to go absolutely to pot, isn't it? That's what happens when you privatise stuff. It's maximum profits for minimum expenditure. Nothing ever improves when you're doing that. he sent the link for this from here. Alright, so throwing that in RDA as well. But there seems to be, looks like there's plenty of chat in there today anyway, so yeah. There normally is, isn't there? Loads getting on. Normally I've finished by now, haven't I? And I've only put one thing in so far, so let's go and check out...
But Kipper's Vindaloo can't be good for you.
Go to Kipper's Corner, see if this works.
Kippers kicks ass.
British tourist cries after Benidorm holiday was ruined by too many Spanish people. Genuinely. She cried at the end of a holiday because too many Spaniards had ruined it. Pensionate in her 80s, the Spanish should go somewhere else for the holidays, and she cried at the end of a 2-week trip. Kipper says, go to Blackpool then, you utter gobshite. I have to agree with her, to be honest. If you only go somewhere, don't complain because that's where they live. And I know she mentioned in the article, they're very rude. Well, to be honest, if it was my country and then loads of people just turned up from somewhere else and every week ruined the place, fighting in the streets, vomiting, doing other things in the streets, you know, I wouldn't be happy either. I think I'd lose me cool with them slightly as well. Yes, Steve, gobshite she is. Absolute gobshite. She's from Blackburn as well. So Blackpool's not that far away from her. Just go there, have your fish and chips, have your stick of rock. Watch out for the trams, don't get run over like Alan Bradley. And then stop bloody moaning. We need to stop looking at Benidorm and Spain as like England but with the weather, because it's not. It's a completely different country. Go there and enjoy it. Have a look around. Even when I went to Tenerife with my ex. Again, I'm not religious, remotely religious. My ex-wife wasn't really either. But we'd always go to a church. Go and have a look at what the church is like, because it gives you a bit of a taste of what the local life is like. You just go and do that. See if you can see the people who are coming in and out of the place, the ones who work nearby. That's what the real Spain or the real Tenerife was like. I always like seeing that. Cuba was the same. Go and see what the real people are like. Don't just sit on the beach drinking cocktails, even though you can easily do that in a 5-star hotel. Go and view something different. What was she expecting? I'll tell you exactly what she was expecting. A proper Sunday dinner, only fools and horses on the TV, and pints of Banks's mild. That was genuinely one of the lads who I got a match with. He went over and he said there was a couple from, I think it might have been Walsall, who were moaning. And he said, what are you moaning about? It's gorgeous. The place is absolutely stunning. The weather's fantastic. We can't get no cow in Banks's mild. Well, you don't go for Banks's mild. If that's what you want, stay at home. But yeah, you have to have a proper Sunday dinner, and it has to be only fools and horses on the TV when you go in the pub. Otherwise, holiday ruined. Did he want us to just take over entire Spanish towns and cities and call it El Bognor Regis or something? Although to be fair, I do refer to Southport as Puerta de la South to try and give it a sheen of glamour that it doesn't really deserve or have. The weather is fantastic at the Puerta de la South. Why go if all you do is English? Yeah, that's exactly. There's too many of them. Benidorm is one of those places where I think that's where they started doing it, didn't he? To see if what it was like. Would the Brits take to it? And then you have to bend over backwards to try and make sure that it's as English as possible. If you want to do a fully English thing, go to Blackpool, go to Eastbourne or Bournemouth or something, Brighton. Don't be going to Spain. The Spanish do some decent beers. Have a nice Spanish beer. Tapas is really nice. You might not like all of it, but you might find something that you like. And you've got the weather. You don't need to go and do fucking bingo and Only Fools and Horses and cabaret nights. Just go and enjoy it, man. It's like going all the way to, I don't know, Bali or somewhere, isn't it? They haven't got the X Factor on. I don't like it. Fuck's sake. It's paradise, man. Haven't been abroad for ages. Not since the operation. I used to be abroad. No. Like 2005 was that the last time? Or 2005, last time I went away. How bad's that? Since then, it's just been work, moan. One of your ex's parents said the holiday was ruined because she couldn't get Bacardi. Where did he go? Bacardi's omnipresent, isn't it? But yeah, if you can't get that, change, have something else. Try something different. That's part of the I don't even want to say the fun. It's part of the experience for me when you go somewhere else. Go and see something different. You might get there and think this is utter shit, and then think, well, where I come from is much nicer. I'm not going to be as harsh on my hometown. If that's what you get from it, that's what you get from it. If you go and see something completely different that you're not used to seeing, that's how you grow, that's how you learn. What's the world like? You know, people hate change. That's exactly right, Steve. And yet, you find with a lot of people, something changes and they hate it, and then you ask them a year later, do you want to change back? Oh no, I couldn't change back, now I love it. It's just that first thing, isn't it? That first little bit of, I don't like it, I don't recognise it. Well, I suppose if that's what you're into and you don't like change too much, Benidorm is the place to go. You might bump into Spaniards there who are a little bit rude because, you know, that's their country and it's been taken over, but it's as close to being back in Britain with the sun as you can get. Don't be going to Thailand or something and then start moaning about that. So you get white rum, just not Bacardi. She made sure her husband had a shit time too. That's ridiculous. Depends on what white rum it was as well, because there's better white rum than Bacardi. And again, Cuba. Cubans hate Bacardi. Because they run away to Florida. So you'd have Havana Club instead. Not that I drink rum. Although we did have the lads there looked after us, the bar staff, because we give them all kinds of stuff. Footy shirts, razors, shampoos, shower gels and all kinds of gear. And that 33-year-old rum that they give us, the dark aged rum, wow, that was rather nice. Even for someone that doesn't drink shorts, I like that. Yeah, man, you can't leave Rill because you can't find Tia Maria. Unless you take it with you, of course. Take it in your bag. And you drink cider too as well. Proper cider. What kind of cider do you drink though? There's levels, isn't there? Is it rough cider, that cloudy stuff that looks like the morning after piss? Is it white lightning? Do you drink it out of 2 litre bottles on the monument? Are you trying to share something with us? Do we need to have an intervention? Nick the teetotaler trying to spread his message across the waters. Proper cider from a paper bag. That's more like it. I can see that you're doing that, Mandy, to be honest. Paper bag with cider in one hand, kebab in the other. Steve, level up to a level 11. Brilliant stuff. Again, ending the new year in a better position than you started. Everyone on here is doing. You'll drink anything except anything that tastes like aniseed, right? That's not a bad way of looking at it, to be honest. Aniseed, the only things I've had that are aniseedy, what were they? Pernod, which to this day still knocks me sick. And something, was it Ouzo? Is Ouzo aniseedy? So I'm trying to think it is, isn't it? Slightly aniseedy. Although the worst thing I ever drunk was overproof white rum from Jamaica. Oh, it was the most repulsive stuff on earth. Someone brought it back to the pub. They'd been away on holiday and brought that back with them. And no, it was like white spirit or something mixed with vileness. Never ever again. I'm not a big shorts drinker anyway. Occasional brandy when it's freezing cold at the match, but apart from that, no. Pernod chaser. Yeesh. Proper scrumpy. There you go. Are you a cider drinker? I can't be doing with cider either. That was something that we used to call it screech in the pub that we had in Liverpool, because that's the kind of headache it gives you. No. I used to be a Guinness drinker. That's all I drink. Until we had a really hot summer. Then I had a couple of pints of lager because it was just too hot for Guinness. And then been on that ever since. And of course the red wine. And you won't drink brown poutine either. Yeah, don't blame me with that. Can't trust stuff that's been brewed in, someone's bath for potato peelings and antifreeze. Nah. No es bueno, man. No es bueno. I'm still sticking with me alcohol-free red wine, which I know people would probably see as a placebo or like a methadone. But if it's stopping me from drinking, it's stopping me drinking, innit? Is that not a good thing? In East Anglia, you've got Aspel's, which is lovely. It's mad, them ciders. Again, I watched the hairy bikers went somewhere, and watching them make proper cider, man, the amount of effort that goes into it with the press. Still, it's not my kind of stuff, but you can see why people do like it. Yeah, that stuff's lethal. One sniff, put you right off. I thought they eat brown poutine, is it? Aspel's. I've seen that, I've seen that name somewhere. Yeah. There's always a cream for that. And if all else fails, dip it in natural yoghurt. There you go, top tip for you. Very cheeky. There's loads of those little breweries, isn't there? Which they won't even be little, but compared to the massive ones that we have in the country, the smaller ones that are really doing well. I don't like Thatcher's just because of the name. Fucking horrible bastard. But loads of those little or smaller breweries, there's definitely a huge market for that. Especially as you get closer to the summer as well. Cider tends to get a little bit more popular at that point, doesn't it? Simply because you can't drink Guinness all year round. I don't care who you are. Even the Irish don't. My mate used to live in the hills or the mountains outside Dublin. He used to hate it whenever the English come over on St Patrick's Day. So it's just all waiting round for Guinness, and all the Irish were in there trying to have pints of Harp lager. Would you fuck off with your Guinness? 47 microbreweries in Norfolk. That's absolutely amazing. That's a huge amount. I mean, it's obviously Norfolk's a fairly big county, but even so, that's a massive amount of microbreweries. But you've got the you've got the land for it. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of hop farms, won't there? There'll be loads of orchards for your apples and pears for your ciders and perries and what have you. You went to a scrumpy farm in Cornwall, Mandy. That was fun. Yeah, again, I think I'm sure that's pretty much where the hairy bikers were. So it was either Cornwall or Somerset, same sort of area. I can imagine that would be fun. And they were given a nice few little tasters, which they seem to like, obviously. Did anyone watch the hairy bikers this Christmas? When they were doing the Christmas dinner for all the women that helped. So all the people that helped Dave through his illness. That was great. That horrible seeing them feeling ill, but seeing them improving, and the people that were helping them. There's loads of stuff that I seen when I watched it that I recognised. So I know exactly where you've been, mate. You grow the barley, yep. Thousands of tons of barley all over the world for brewing. The perfect place for it. Absolutely perfect place. We're good that we've got the kind of the climate for growing stuff that means a lot to us. It's like ale and potatoes, loads of that being made over here. Yeah, that's what Spencer should do. Forget London, go to microbreweries and scrumpy producers. He would have to have someone with him filming and driving because he'd be no good. A couple of the first goes and having loads of free gear thrown at him, and I reckon he'd be all over the place. But that'd be an interesting one. An interesting video to send back. What did you get up to? Did you see Buckingham Palace? No. But I fell asleep pissed in a haystack. It was fantastic. Definitely going back. Did he say when it is he's coming over? Is it April? May, June, was it? Hopefully he's here when we go through a really hot heat wave. Then he can tell people back home as well that it's a different kind of warm in this country. A much different kind of warm. And also when he's here, he should be, hopefully, here for one of the longer days. Wonder how he'll deal with it still being completely daylight at 10 o'clock at night. June the 4th. Alright. You'd go, but you can't drive. If you go to a scrumpy place, you can't drive on the way home either. Don't know how he's going to go everywhere on trains that'll cost him a fortune. Yes. It's stupid. Even if you worked everything out in advance and bought really cheap early tickets, it's still far too much. I've said before that there's a journalist who, rather than get a train from Leeds to Bristol, it was cheaper to fly from Leeds to Dublin, have an entire day out in Dublin, go to the Guinness tour, go to the zoo, have something to eat, and then fly to Bristol. And it was still cheaper doing that than it was just to train directly. No good for the environment, no good for your CO2 emissions, but that's where we are. It's like one of the John Bishop jokes that I actually liked before he became too famous. When he went down to London, just come down on that train. And when you can have virgin and on the side, that's that fucked is beyond me. And he was absolutely right. I used to have to get them down to London all the time through work. Luckily enough, because the job that I do, it's paid for. Yeah, just then trains are absolutely awful. West Coast, man. West Coast Main Line, abysmal. You was going to go from Stansted to Blackpool by train. What? No. Well, for the start, to be able to do that, you're going to have to go to Euston to Wigan, then Wigan to Blackpool, or Euston to Preston, Preston to Blackpool. That's going to cost an absolute fortune. I have to book a month off and chauffeur him. I could do that and film it, and then I could put it on my YouTube channel and get monetised. Yeah, Jeff has said that, but then again, Jeff's not used to the streams being this long, really, is he? At some point, I'd like to take a month off and chauffeur myself around the country. Sick of watching other people doing it and having great times, and then I can't manage it myself. Get there though. Every time I go out and drive somewhere, it's another little bit of training. Dropping my daughter off, picking her up. Good for little short trips, but going a match, driving here, driving there. It's all exercise and getting myself used to it. Getting used to the managing the fatigue. So I will get there, and then go off on my UK tour. I am interested to see what Spencer makes of the place, because it's all right sitting in a room back in the States watching all kinds of UK comedies and music and what have you. It's completely different when you suddenly turn up. It's like, right, you're here now, there's no getting away from it. You're playing back home is not for a while. What do you make of it? What do you think? Will it be better than he thought? Will he be disappointed? Will he take full advantage of the Tesco meal deal? I can be damned. Yeah, Steve, you're only a couple of hours away from Stansted here. Not that far away, isn't it? Depends on where you'd need to go then. Obviously, you can't be picking them up and taking them all the way to Blackpool. Jeez, that is one hell of a trip. That's crazy. I can see Blackpool from Southport. It's only across the way. But even for me, getting from here is about an hour. Whereas it used to be 7 or 8 minutes in a hovercraft back in the day. Used to have a hovercraft was in Southport and the South Pier, I think it was, at Blackpool. So on a Friday, jump on there, go to Blackpool, have a few beers, back on the hovercraft, back home for the last few hours in Southport. Loads of people used to do it. Yeah, tell them about the microbreweries. You won't want to go to Blackpool at that point. You just have to drive more around Norfolk, getting absolutely wasted. I do hope he manages to go to. I know he's going to some of the bigger cities and what have you, but even while you're there, just go for a bit of a jaunt out in the countryside, see what the place looks like. I know he mentioned going to Newcastle. I don't know where he's going to first, but that's quite a scenic trip. If you go from, like I did, I went from Liverpool to Newcastle on the train. There's some really, really nice towns and cities you go through, especially Yorkshire. Huddersfield, on the outskirts of Huddersfield, looks amazing. All the hills, dry stone walls. Everywhere looks like the opening to Emmerdale. Gorgeous. Can he busk in Cromer? Good question. Do they allow it in Cromer? Or are they a bit crabby about stuff like that? Does our local RNLI have a hovercraft? You've got one at Hunstanton. I'm not sure ours has. I know we've got a boat at Southport. I'm not sure about a hovercraft, and it would make sense if we did because of how big the beach is. Not really looked into it, and quite a few of the people that used to volunteer on there come in the pub. Oh yeah, that's anyone who does that kind of job as well. Bloody hell, fair play to you. Considering it's all volunteers, putting yourself at risk to help other people out. Absolutely amazing. And he can, good. Get your mate to film him. Spencer at Chroma, as seen by a drone. The collaboration he didn't realise he needed. How many stations have you got in North Wales, man? The RNLI stations. I was thinking Wales must have quite a few. Got like, because obviously the North Wales coast it's a coast, a long coast with lots of shipping nearby. I think you just got boats there. Your local pub has live music every Sunday afternoon. There you go. Get them in there. By popular demand. I hope he makes sure that he does do a little bit of busking while he's over here. If nothing else, just for content on his channel. There's some places, I don't know, Matthew Street, I think you can busk in Liverpool. If you can have a video of him busking next to the John Lennon statue or outside the cavern and stuff like that, that's the kind of stuff that I think he'll probably end up doing well on his channel. Have guitar, will travel. There's a Glasgow he's going to as well, isn't he? Rather than Edinburgh this time. That's normally a good place to busk. As long as he wears a kilt. Eh, Kirsty? As long as he wears a kilt. I think he could look rather Celtic. I know he's the name is very Irish, isn't it? But yeah, I think he'd probably get away with wearing the kilt and the sporran, the long socks and the skeen do pushed in there. Yeah, that's his plan, busking. So yeah, I think it'd be a good way as well of interacting with the locals, rather than just, I don't know, walking around art galleries or pointing at places. Busk, get talking to people. That'd be fantastic. Hopefully he has a good time. Wouldn't want him going home feeling disappointed after all this planning. Good to be able to do it as well. I don't want to start putting years on him, but at his age, that's a really good age to be travelling and going somewhere and being comfortable and confident in what you do, and getting your guitar out and singing. Used to doing his no gigs all the time, used to playing gigs around the States. You don't have to worry about too much. You've got a bit of confidence in yourself as well. That'd be a good time to do it. And to do it before he gets too entrenched with having to make all his money from YouTube. Get out and travel. Yeah, it'd have been better off flying into Manchester. More actually a cost, it'll save on train fare. Yeah. Or alternatively, fly into Ireland and then go to Liverpool from there. Obviously Liverpool's a very central part of the UK. Maybe northwest England, but it's a really central part of the UK. Could have gone to Belfast and just got a quick flight, 25-minute, 30-minute flight from Belfast to Liverpool. You're on a train network, you can get to Manchester from there. London's still a bit of a pain to get to. Even though it's only 2 hours, it's bloody expensive, but you're there then. Glasgow wasn't too bad. I got the train from Liverpool to Glasgow. Newcastle you can get to as well. Manchester you want to go. Yeah. Or yeah, flying to Manchester, another place. Very, very central. Easy to get to everywhere else. Plus you'll know Laz. So there'll be someone waiting for him. But you never know, this might be the time to test a few things out. See what works, what doesn't work, and then when him and Dan come over the year after maybe, you'll have more of an idea. I think at some point soon Liverpool are going to have direct flights between the states as well. I think it's going to be Liverpool to New York was going to be one of them, which that'll be really handy for anyone who wants to pop over and back. Should be cheaper, although Ireland really is a lot cheaper, isn't it? Substantially cheaper flying there. In fact, he could have done that, couldn't he? Flew to Ireland and then ferry to the Isle of Man. Yeah, I think it's going to be easy getting to the Isle of Man during the TT. Nope, definitely not. My mate lives over there. She loves it, but absolute chaos and bedlam. The amount of people that are heading, not just from the UK, not just from like Liverpool, Holyhead, where else goes there? There'll be from Belfast, Dublin, Stranraer, loads of boats going over there. Just full of people. Definitely not easy. Plus you can do what that lad did. Went from Scotland to the Isle of Man on a jet ski, or tried to at least. And ended up getting pulled out by the Coast Guard and arrested by the police for endangering himself. What made you think you could go across the Irish Sea on a fucking jet ski, you lunatic? You're staying with Jackie in Belfast? Yeah, that should be interesting. Belfast is a fantastic city. Been there a couple of times with work and I absolutely loved it. Well, on that first day when we landed at Belfast International and got the bus trip, that was lovely. Seeing the hills in the background, gorgeous countryside. Got off the bus and as soon as he walked through the front, one of the lads went, "There's where you're working, and that's the most bombed hotel in Europe. Thank you very much, welcome to Belfast." It was lovely. Yeah, best go there last. We'll never leave. I still couldn't get over looking at the map of the hotel that we stayed in, the old Jury's Hotel, Jury's Inn. And then round the corner was the Falls Road, the Shankill Road. All the places where I'd seen bombings on the news during the 70s was literally just round the corner. Man, crazy. You've been to Dublin. I've never been to the Republic. I would love to go. It's just to go over the road, isn't it? What was it like? Apart from bloody expensive, by the sound of it. If I was going to go, I'd like to go to somewhere like Galway. That looks amazing. I don't want to see the cliffs of Moher. All in places. The real wild, rugged coast. The Wild Atlantic Way, is that the place that they call it? Looks stunning. Where they film loads of stuff. Because you can make it look really Game of Thronesy, can't you? Even though most of that's filmed in Belfast. Very Game of Thronesy. Spencer's family's from Galway, according to Ali, right? So that's definitely somewhere he should go. Absolutely should go there. That's why he probably mentioned it, didn't he, on his on the live stream. Galway. Connect with the family. That's exactly what you need to do. Even if it's just a few pictures. Go back home and go, this is where my family originated from. I've been there. Touch base with home. Dublin, right, so one of the gang was a local. He took us out to the centres of his family's local. Great time, really welcoming. Yeah, good people, the Irish. And I suppose that's like anywhere else. Again, London is ridiculously expensive when you go for a beer. But if you know people who are from there, they just take you around the corner, down a side street that you wouldn't even look twice at. And there's a pub down there, and you're not spending a fortune on ale. It's full of locals, not full of tourists. It's just even London's the same. Liverpool, there's some places in Liverpool that are more expensive than bloody London. But again, I wouldn't be drinking in those places. I'd know where to go to. Or at least I used to know where to go to. So if anyone came there, stay away from here, stay away from there. If you want a real taste of the city, come with me and I'll introduce you to my mates. Yeah, I can't believe I've never been to Dublin. Although when people talk about going on stag do's and stuff like that, Dublin always comes across as being far too expensive. Well, around Temple Bar anyway. I mean, like ridiculously, stupidly expensive. Whereas Belfast was okay. Didn't mind that. In a place called Filthy McNasty's. What's the other place that we went into? Scruffy Murphy's as well. And the Crown, if you go to Belfast, the Crown, very famous, very ornate, stunning looking place, but very busy, again full of tourists. So we find all the back alley pubs. Told to watch ourselves, be careful. Why? Everyone's been lovely. It's a rough area. One of the lads I was with is from Kirkdale. I think that's a rough area. Jesus Christ, you want to come for a drink where he lives. It's a shame we always do that to places, isn't it? Towns and cities. Always try and make the centre so ridiculously expensive. And then you ruin the whole aesthetic, the whole vibe of the place. Again, I think that's why Belfast was so good. It's because there was loads of people from the city milling round the city centre. And if you went in pubs, there's always someone local, someone who's willing to talk to you. Also helps, of course, because the amount of people who live in Belfast are Everton, Liverpool, Man United fans. You can talk football with them. So that was always a good thing to talk about who you support, who they support. But they're always really welcoming. Am I holding up? Not doing too bad, to be honest with you. I think I'm just, because I'm looking at the clock, it's like I shouldn't be on this late. But yeah. Got to keep on moving the back slightly. Now that I'm an old man. But considering 2 nights of virtually no sleep, I'm doing well. But that was so nice today, getting home. I was still a little bit numb and still a little bit sore. But by the time I thought I'm going to go to bed and get my head down for a little bit, just doing that, being able to lie with my face on the pillow and not be in absolute agony. Gorgeous. Mandy, you moved to painting for a year. The First 2 weeks you were there, nobody spoke to you. Week 3, they asked if you were on holiday. When you said no, you got invited to the locals only party. You never looked back. Yep. So of course, week 3, why are you still here? I live here now. Right, sound. Off you come. That's it, get in with the locals, as you always should do. Liverpool's really good for that, or used to be at least. I say I've not been out for a while. If anyone walks into a pub with a strange accent, you make a big deal of talking to them. What you're here for, where you're trying to find, where have you been? Are you looking for anywhere to go to? Are you looking for somewhere to eat, somewhere to drink? Always try and make people feel welcome. End up getting talking to so many different people in pubs over the years, and then just invite them to come and join your company when there's about 20 of us from work. It's alright, come and sit with us. You can sit on the edge if you want, so you can just get on with your own stuff if you're bored or can't keep up. But the amount of people that just sat there pissing themselves laughing and then joined in as well. It's great. I'm lucky I've got some really good mates in work who are good like that. I miss that, which is why I do this. I've said before, this is the nearest thing I've got to going for a beer with the lads. We're going on a lunch break at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because we all work sort of late shift. Go at 2, go to the pub for an hour or so, and just sit there and laugh constantly. It's brilliant. I miss that. Just like that, once you established you wasn't a grockle, you were family, yep. Not an outsider, not just there taking the piss. You're part of it. That's still face meltingly hot. Stupid. Get one. Thermos. And if Thermos are watching, I don't mind being a corporate shill for your quality product. They are fantastic. Money well spent. Especially if you drive a car and you've got kids that need lifts every 5 minutes. Make one of them, and while you sit outside the house freezing cold during the winter, you can warm yourself up. Oh, we're getting close to the European New Year. I'll have to send a couple of quick texts when we hit that stage. To my friends in far-flung places. Well, an hour away on a fucking plane, obviously. Not that far away, are they? Again, do people like Americans realise when you land at Stansted that within the space of an hour or 2 you can be in a completely different country, or several different countries with completely different cultures and languages and things, in the same way that I don't know, Daniel or Spencer driving one to the other or going to Florida. I forget how long Daniel said it was, but I mean, from where I am to Moldova is just 1,700 miles, and I'm sure he did longer than that going to Florida. Just saying. That's how close these things are. But there's a lot of people that have turned up in the UK and looked at a map and thought, really, is it that close? Yeah. Amsterdam is literally, you can get there within 45 minutes. Paris, you can go on a train and be there in an hour or so. Italy's just down the road. I always say that, just down the road. Spain's just around the corner. In fact, if you want to spend 4 hours on a plane, you can get to North Africa. You can go on a completely separate continent and then get a boat back and what have you. Yeah, the average Yank hasn't got a clue. Again, a lot of the times it's because the education system over there just sort of pushes the fact that it's the best place on earth. Let's face it, as a country, it's a fantastic place. If you want, you can have anything. You can have skiing, you can have sandy beaches. It's hot, it's cold, it's rainy, it's dry. There's all kinds of stuff going on there. So I suppose you don't need to go anywhere else, but you're missing out on so much more. And you don't get shown where places in the world are compared to, look at us. I suppose because Europe is so close to us and on our doorstep, we know. And we play loads of European football. Again, sorry Mandy, football. If you follow a football team and they're fairly successful, you can spend a lot of time driving around or flying to parts of Eastern Europe. Where else would people from Liverpool end up in Estonia and Ukraine? Everton played Metalist Kharkiv in the arse end of Ukraine. Loads of lads went over there. There's no way on earth they would have been there if it hadn't been for the football. But it is just not that far away on a plane. Poland. Loads of my mates go to Poland for a weekend on a regular basis. I've got mates who own properties in Bulgaria. They love it. Dead cheap. It's just, the place is stunning, the country's gorgeous. Everyone speaks English. But it's just, there's so much available to us. Which obviously when you're in the States, they can go to Mexico, they can go to Canada, I suppose, but even depending on where you are in the States, it can still be a really, really long way to go. With us, we're just about that close to everywhere. You can just disappear, go cross continents. If you get in a car, go on the Eurotunnel, you could spend 2 or 3 days and drive through about 10 countries or so, with virtually spending no time, just dead easy, and off you go. Took 2 days, spent 8 hours from Daniel. That's ridiculous. Just insane, because the size of the bloody thing. European Cup final was in Azerbaijan, which is technically in Asia. Yep, it is. That's Russia for you though, isn't it? Or, well, the former Soviet Union as well. That covers so much space, which is why they're all part of European tournaments and stayed that way. But yeah, that's a long, long way, isn't it, Azerbaijan as well, for a game. Although, I've seen the longest trips was France, the French Cup, like the French FA Cup. There was a third division team in France that had to go to Réunion, which is in the Indian Ocean, isn't it? For like an FA Cup game. And it's so many thousand miles away. And we think that we're struggling if we have to go to Exeter or Plymouth or somewhere. Now they're going to Réunion, mind you. As an away trip, I wouldn't mind that. To save up for a couple of years, but geez, what a trip that'd be. Middle of paradise. Is that near Madagascar, isn't it, Réunion? Not far from there, I think. I'm going to have to check this now. Right. So you open up the map and it's just pitch black. Yeah, it is. It's off the east coast of Madagascar, so it's Indian Ocean, fucking miles away. Grand Tour did an episode there, didn't he? The tunnel sprung a leak. Well, it was closed due to flooding. You'll pass. That's it doesn't sound good, does it? No different for West Coast NFL teams have to play in London. Well, it is and it isn't, apart from the fact that third division French football teams have got no money, whereas NFL teams have got a huge amount of money to fly over. I think the French FA, or whatever it is, had to pay for the team to fly over, because I mean, it's ridiculous having to fly an entire squad. You can't go there by coach. It's a long, long way, isn't it? I think they're either Parisian or Marseille kind of area. Even then, having to fly all the way to the Indian Ocean. Jeez. Couldn't understand there's flooded in Ebbsfleet. Oh, yep. Happy New Year to both Casper and Hadwig. Just send me a little message to my friend in Enschede. Sorted like a Manchester postman. That's 2 zones down, 1 to go. well, 2 down, 2 to go, but I'm not staying up till 5 o'clock to wish Maryland a Happy New Year. As I'm sure Daniel is well aware. Got loads of places over here that's constantly flooded. Is it Carlisle? Carlisle's ground floods a lot, and Shrewsbury, I think it is as well, isn't it? Shrewsbury was underwater to the point where the goalposts were only just sticking out. I think that's mad. That must absolutely ruin the stadium. How do you carry on from that? Apart from if you've got loads and loads and loads of really good volunteers to help you. Or you're a rich team. Which they're not, obviously. There we go. Sent Esther a message as well. There's a programme on telly tomorrow night about the poor postmasters who got proper fucked by the Royal Mail. Yep. Absolutely disgusting what happened to them. And the fact that they knew about it and still let it go on and on and on is disgraceful. I'm going to have to watch that one. Did you watch the Ben Elton thing about the trains? It seems like we were just talking about it. I think it was on Channel 4. I think it was called Ben Elton on Trains. That's worth watching as well. Just how poor things are run and for whose benefit they're run. Yeah, I definitely have to watch that. It's horrible. It'd be 2020 odd, wasn't it, when it happened? And yet, we're still allowing stuff like that to go on. With people with mental health problems as a result of it, and worse. Horrible. That's why, again, don't want to keep having a go at how bad the UK is and how horrible some of the people are, but it is just, there's no need for how people are treated, and there's no need for how the money flows one direction and not the other. Everyone should be looked after and fairly compensated, and we're not. I didn't do me Wolfie Smith, did I? I didn't do it on me stream deck, so I can't start messing with it. Happy New Year, Casper. All the best, mate. $2024, that's the year, mate. That's the year. It's going to be a big year. Strap yourself in. It's going to be huge. What size is that programme on, Steve? Do you know? Let's have a look. It's always good to learn about these things, see exactly what's going on. Here England win the European Championship, you never know, it could happen. Could happen. On ITV. Right. Let's have a Butchers. Monday. Mr. Bates versus the Post Office, yep. First of a 4-part drama series, yep. Oh, we'll definitely have to watch that. See what happened. I'll series link that, I think, when I get back in the front room. Yeah, Mandy said it already. She went on the ball. Well, that weather that I said had passed us by and gone north is back with a vengeance. It sounds horrific. Rain smashing in the windows. Very windy. Not nice at all. I can hear it as well. Sounds like a plane taking off, which will be the roof about to take off, which is what we need. Right, I'm going to have to give you a bit of chair stream just for a couple of minutes. I'll be back in a second. What does he think he was doing there? No more than 3 streams. It's 3 shakes rather. Hands washed. If that chair turns around now, I was very, very tempted to do that. Also, if I hadn't been feeling so shite, I would have filmed something while wearing the same clothing. I would have filmed something earlier on today and made it look as though Kippers was taking over. Yep, the Prince Shrine. Now, you didn't hear the flush because the bathroom is, well, it is round the corner, but it does actually back onto my room. But I'll put you on mute, obviously. Oh. That's my first ever chair stream. And my nephew's just asked me, have you got an umbrella? I think he's going out somewhere. Nope. My umbrella is a Mercedes. Right, even though I've just been, I can't start drinking loads more tea, can I? Because I'll end up having to go back within seconds. I do feel better, thanks, Mandy. Cheers, Steve, I do. Much better. I'm annoyed that I had to go in the first place. I'm normally alright. I've had years and years of going the match. Because I sit right in the middle of a row. It's the same amount of seats going that way as that way to get out, to go to the toilets. I've trained myself. But since the explodey brainy thing happened, I'm untrained again. I need to retrain the bladder. Kippers is taking over, man. Kippers thinks he's taking over. Kippers knows which side his bread's buttered. I'm in charge. I'm the daddy. But, speaking of bears, let's have a look at Horace's haiku for the day. Another year done and consigned to history. It was a bit shit. Wasn't. Horace, man, you become a YouTube sensation, an internet star. I'm going to be a bit shit, mate. The old rolled newspaper and pee in someone's pocket. Very, very popular on the Cop at Anfield. The Cop, as it's known locally, is the hill of piss. Empty bottle under the table. I do have a pee bottle, which I had to buy when I first come home, because obviously if I was suddenly in need of a pee, I couldn't make it from the bedroom to the bathroom because I couldn't walk at the time. And I've still got that pee bottle somewhere in here. So I could, in theory, put you on mute and you'd see the eye going though, wouldn't you? Inspector Dreyfus style. Plus, I don't think I'd be like to get me lad out on YouTube. Has the Hoo-Yah stopped, or is it still going on? Please tell me it's stopped. Yes, do not do that. We can't be having that. You've got a bucket when your back goes. Yeah. It's, what you need, isn't it? Whatever you need to get through the day and the evening. My uncle is a really good plasterer. When he worked on the sites, they'd always have a bucket of a morning, and everyone would pee into it, and he'd make his plaster with piss, because he always said it gives a better sheen, a better covering. I'm not sure I'd like to be doing that, but he swore by it. Very, very good plasterer as well. He did our kitchen when we moved back to England. Don't tell us you're doing it. I'll have to have a sponge, won't I? I'll have a sponge in there as a silencer. A Galvy bucket with a sponge. And when you see the colour coming back to my cheeks, oh, he's been now, hasn't he? Clean hands. Always clean hands. You're just like typing Hoo-Yah. Same as Hoo-Yah and horsey wind pump. Yeah, but that piss bottle was one of the best things I bought for the first, I don't know, a month or two before I got to the point where I was able to start walking through there of a night. Yeah, so you know a roofer who hangs on to one until he gets to work, so he gets paid to do it. I've got mates like that in work. the same thing. Why do it at home? They'll come in, do that, go and make themselves breakfast in the break room. All the stuff that you would normally think about doing at home, do it on the company dollar. Why not? And also my mate Jimmy. If anyone asks him where you're off, I'm going wooing, which is whack one out. Obviously he doesn't do in work. If you're caught, you'd be sacked on the spot, but he always says it and it always winds people up. He's saying it again. Stop asking him then. I miss our Jimmy. Not seen him in ages. He's a good lad, as Harry Redknapp would say. It's proper, isn't it, when you work on a building site as well? I know my uncle did that typical building work thing where my granddad used to make soup. So if they ever made chicken or something for a Sunday dinner, he'd hold on to the carcass and he'd make really thick, chunky chicken and vegetable soup. And then my uncle would take it to work with him the following day in a thermos flask. And wherever they were working, they needed water for the kettle. So we'll take the kettle over and then for the afternoon drink, go and take a thermos flask. If anyone's got a spare thermos flask, go with extra water with it. So he poured all his stuff out, the last of his soup, over paving slabs. And then someone came up, one of the bosses went, "Oh, who's been sick?" And he'd done that and put it in his hand and went, "It tastes like John." And as soon as he'd done it, he's got a tickled stomach himself anyway, but as soon as he'd done it and realised what he'd done, he threw up and then someone else threw up. So from a joke to everyone throwing up around him, soft bastard. But he's the one that used to piss in a bucket for his plaster as well. He used to tell us some very strange stories about working on them sites. I was lucky I only worked with a couple of lads, but even that was bad enough. Big Mick, his dad used to work for the chemists that we did work for. And I got in the back of the van one day, soaking in here, and his dad started laughing. "What are you laughing at?" "Oh, my piss bottle must have burst." "Oh, wonderful. So now I've got to go all the way from Birkenhead to Southport, covered in your dad's piss, have I?" So I laugh with them all the time, but yeah, not nice. Those on the days when we went to the Green Man on Edge Lane and someone came in. "Do you want to buy any trackies? Do you want to buy any cheese? Any coffee? Do you want to buy half a sheep?" "Fucking what, lad? What did you just say? Batteries?" "Half a sheep." "Give us a shout, I'll bring it round to yours." "Nah, you're alright." Yeah, all part of working on the building sites. We did have a laugh. Apart from things like pouring ether down the outside toilets. That's how old this building was. Outside toilet, just throw it down there, it'll be alright. You can't. Half the fish in the Mersey will be dead. You were in Liverpool when that lad who didn't get paid took it out on the job with a mini digger. Yeah, that was fairly famous, that one, wasn't it? Where he just absolutely ripped the reception apart. What you do it for? Well, I never got paid. Well, that's a lesson to be learned, that, isn't it? Pay the lad. That wouldn't just be the one person that would do that. Probably everyone on that site, if you didn't get paid, would come and do something similar. Don't take the piss out of your workers. Look after them, man. Esther says thank you and wishes everyone a happy new year herself as well. Mandy has a TV on mute, just accidentally hit volume and jumped a mile. There you go. That'll keep you going. Unexpected defibrillation in bagging area. Was it my voice that was coming through the TV? Is that why did you jump? That was me talking quietly, being chilled. Terrible behaviour. I was going to do a New Year's resolution for the squad, for the Bears and Jeff, but I just didn't have time to do so. I'm going to try and work out what would their New Year's resolutions be. Don't even know what I would have put. What do we reckon? What would each of them have as their New Year's resolution? Horace, Kippers and Jeff. Anyone got any ideas? Woke up a bit, some loud jazz combo on Graham Norton. Ah, right. Didn't even realise he was on tonight. Or is he doing a Christmassy thing? No, he isn't. Alright, Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, Claudia Winkleman, Rob Brydon, with music from the Ezra Collective. Jeff's is world domination. Yeah, I think that'll be his resolution for 2024. Horace needs a brighter outlook on life. He does. He's quite introspective and poetic at times, but also he's hanging around with Jeff too much and he's starting to become a little bit moody and aggressive. We don't want that for him. He's much better at home wearing dungarees and pottering around the garden. Drinking nice coffee. Speaking of which, if you're in the UK, Charcoal Coffee Company do some fantastic stuff. Make sure you get on it. You will not regret it. I don't know, with Kippers. Would he want to start his own news website just full of idiotic news? Kippers needs to get some clothes on. Well, he's got a bow on. What more can you ask for? I don't know. Do you want to wear clothes? Back off. Obviously no. I think he feels the freedom. He likes the freedom. He's that kind of bear, isn't he? Yeah, not seen Adam for a while actually. Not seen him in the RDA either. Does normally pop in, doesn't he? I hope he's got a sale on soon because I need loads more stuff. And my sister bought me some coffee as well. I think she works for lots of rich people and gets them as presents. So she's used to having some nice stuff. She bought me some as well. I can't remember what it was called, but very, very tasty. I need to stop throwing them on the floor. It's a puppy. Yeah. Well, funnily enough, I did throw him there and he's made it halfway down to the rest of the room, so can't be that bad. He's not injured anyway. Don't like the look in his eye. He'll be alright. I'll play the Smiths later. He likes that. He likes a bit of the Smiths. He might need a pee. I should have took him with me really, shouldn't I? See if he was alright. You alright? Not happy. I think he's choking for marmalade. That's what it is. Oh. More fireworks. Hope I stay on till you're home in an hour. We shall see. We shall see, Casper. You never know. Yeah, Happy New Year. It's 12:30 there. Yes, man. Helen reckons you should knit him some clothes. Don't moan about it. Get knitting. Although I can't, with the khaki hand, I can't really tape measure him up, can I? Should I FedEx him to yours? Fully clothe him and then send him back. You'd make him a tank top, but you need measurements. Okay. I'll ask someone who's not a unidexter whether they can measure him up. What is it you need? I apologise for grabbing him by the head. Is it just shoulder to shoulder, back like a T? I don't know. Look at those eyes, man. Look at those eyes. Those eyes have seen some stuff, haven't they? And don't look at me, lad. There you go. I placed him down this time. I didn't throw him, I placed him. Well, fair enough, I had him by the neck, but that's what his mum would do in the wild. You know what? I haven't even tried. Maybe I've got enough movement in my left hand that I could start making measurements like that. I wonder. I might be able to. What colour tank top would you make him? What would he suit? His bow's like a burgundy colour. But, and the main question is, why is he getting merch before I am? How's he monetising? Neck, armhole, waist. I'll send you a diagram. Okie dokie do. Getting flashbacks to Roger de Courcy. He's no nookie. He hasn't got the acting chops of a nookie bear, has he? That's on that. That's TV as well. 171 on Sky. On Saturday afternoons. Nookie Bear, followed by Wurzel Gummidge. Loads of old school stuff. It's brilliant. Oh, that might not be that. It might be Talking Pictures, actually. 328. Worth watching. There's loads of mad old shows on there. I watched about 10 minutes of that last week. Quite funny, some of the stuff he did. I mean, it's for kids, but even so, it was relatively funny. Much more funny than I remember it. You picture pastel stripes. I get that. Yeah, pastel. Cup of tea and a slice of cake, Aunt Sally. Yes, brilliant. I remember watching that when I was a kid, but I could not remember the amount of people that were in it. Yeah, it's loads of stars, really, wasn't it? I'd be bum swizzled. Did you see the remake? Where's All Gummidge? Was there a remake? Who was in that? When was that? How was I not told about these things? Oh, hello. Right, so it was... Yes, Jeff, we know. Alright, so Mackenzie Crook was Wurzel Gummidge. Ah, that's good. Rosie Cavaliero, Vicky Pepperdine. Interesting. Yeah, Mackenzie Crook from the Detectorists. Mackenzie Crook, who was also in The Office, the original Office, and also Pirates of the Caribbean. He's had a very, very interesting career as that boy. From stand-up comedy to Hollywood films and everything in between. Yeah, never seen that. When was that on? Oh, it was on BBC One. Ooh, dear me. So I'm presuming that must have been a proper kids' TV show rather than like a weekend kids' TV show. That's what you said, yep. Kirsty Slidey right thingy time. Go for it. Go for it, kid. So it's 2024, the year we finally see aliens and UFOs. I'm not 100% sure yet. We will have to see. What are they called now? They're not called UFOs, are they? They're called something else, a different name. Rick's started. Oh, Rick Astley. Is he throwing shapes in the Church of Dance? Is he getting wired right in there, is he? Woodside Hall. Woodside is a ferry port on the Mersey, isn't it? Woodside Ferry. In Birkenhead. I think it took me until I was almost 40 before I ever got on the ferry and did a proper little tour thing on it. I'm not sure if my mum took me when I was a kid, but I can't remember it. But I do remember when I was about 39, I think it was, coming in from Birkenhead on it was during the blue hour. So the skies were absolutely stunning. I've got a few pictures. The picture that I done me poetry ebook is one of the pictures I took that day. Absolutely stunning. Speaking of stunning, last week when I took my daughter to watch Noel Gallagher, we had to drive down past the new Everton Stadium and it was all lit up during the night. That is going to be something else. That looks absolutely beautiful. Maybe a little bit sad and also quite excited at the same time. We're going to have one of the best stadiums in the Championship. Discuss Netflix Cardiff. Has Netflix got a series in Cardiff? If not, why not? Are there any series set in Cardiff? Of course, there was a brilliant film set in Swansea, wasn't it? Twin Town. That was amazing. That was Rhys Ifans and Clea Evans. Yes, Steve, I will do a video when I go there. Without a shadow of a doubt. I think there'll be loads of videos on the first time everyone goes, but I have every intention of making sure that I try and document the entire day. It will be a sad one. Also document the very final day at Goodison, which should be at the end of next season. Should be the last season that we're there. So 24, 25 will be the last one at Goodison, and then 25, 26 onwards at Bramley Moor. Torchwood was in Cardiff. Right, never seen that. I think there was a series back in the 80s. Don't know if it was in Cardiff or not, but it was sure it was like a mining, all about mining comedy show. I'll have to find out what it was called. Otherwise, I won't sleep tonight. On your way home to base camp now. Brilliant, Casper. We look forward to seeing you when you get back. Travel safe, bud. Torchwood. What was that on? Was that a BBC one? Oh, it's sci-fi, yeah, BBC. Russell T Davies. Yeah. Not sure it's my kind of thing, that man. Of course, I haven't said Doctor Who related. Yeah. The reason why I don't watch Doctor Who, Mandy, is because I'm an adult. Fight amongst yourselves. Yeah, although I did watch Good Omens, the first series. I haven't got round to watching the second series, which was absolutely fantastic, and that's sort of a sci-fi thing, isn't it? With your mate writing it. Meow. Yeah, have me call Sharp and Tabitha. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of science fiction anything, to be honest. Although, like I said before, I think Ian Banks, my favourite novelist, also writes under the pseudonym Ian M. Banks, or he did rather, he's not with us anymore. And he used to do culture novels, which is sort of science fiction, but science fiction built more around a future society rather than it's all piao 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 and what have you. So I like them because the stories were really good, all plot driven. But yeah, science fiction in general. Considering Red Dwarf is one of my favourite shows of all time, science fiction's not doesn't tickle me pickle too much. Yeah, so it's an offshoot of Doctor Who. Good Omens was rubbish compared to the book. It might well be, but it was something that I wasn't expecting to watch when it came on. I just started putting it on Amazon when it was on. So I really enjoyed it. Them two are brilliant together anyway. Work well together. David Tennant and Michael Sheen, of course. Who were also brilliant and staged. I absolutely pissed myself laughing at watching that. Michael Sheen's brilliant when he goes full on Welsh and starts raging. Torchwood is an anagram. Oh yes, of course. Now you point it out, it's so obvious, isn't it? See, that could have been staring me right in the face and I would never have seen it. Not in a million years. Even if you said to me now and give me 10 minutes with a pad and paper, Torchwood, make an anagram out of it, I still wouldn't have come up with Doctor Who. But there you go. We live and learn, don't we? Yeah, it's like you can only think of Thingy. Thingy always reminds me of Blackadder. Miriam Margolyes with the parsnip, was it? It was the same shape of a thingy. Turnip. Which is ironic, I had a turnip that was the shape of a thingy, yeah. Ironic, I had a thingy that was the shape of a turnip. I like Blackadder. keep chatting to points. Yeah, I'm going to have to slow that down, aren't I, from every 10 minutes to every 20 minutes or so. It's pissing me off reading that now. Devil Child, yeah, brilliant. She's great, Miriam Margolyes. I think the phrase is near Foxgiven. Great when she was the Infanta as well. I didn't like series 1 of Blackadder, but her and what's his name? Jim Broadbent were brilliant together. And then in Blackadder's Christmas Carol, they were Queen Victoria and her husband worked well together, them two. It was the Infanta and a interpreter who was supposed to be Spanish and sounded Italian and Swiss and everything but Spanish. Brilliant. It was a shame that the series wasn't as funny as the funniest bits, because that first series of Blackadder had some really funny bits in it, but overall not as good as the Ben Elton era. His accent was superb, wasn't it? And then putting the stresses on the wrong vowels and what have you. It's brilliant the way he did it. But of course, he will always be Slater in Only Fools and Horses. Not a fan of Miriam. Yep. Not everyone has to be Mandy. Not everyone has to be. Different strokes for different folks. Mine, unfortunately, had to be one of them, didn't it? But we all take the stuff that we like, and we take from it what we like. So even things where you don't like her, I'm sure there'll be series that she was in that she was good that you liked. Even if you don't like her. Know what I mean? We need more decent series. I can't remember the last time I watched something fairly new that was good. Now, is the quality getting worse? Are people trying too hard? She did a good series with Alan Cumming driving around Scotland in a camper van. I've not seen that. I like him as well. Do you ever remember a sitcom that he was in? I think he co-wrote it with Forbes Masson, The High Life, where they were very camp Scottish air stewards. That was on BBC years ago. Very, very strange and strangely funny. That was his first given an insight into some of the more modern Scottish vernacular, which I didn't know anything about. Fud being one of them. All our Scottish mates were going mad about it, saying how funny it was, so I ended up watching it and thinking it was boss. It's only years later that I really understood what they were going about half the time. But he's another one, Alan Cumming. He's just naturally very, very witty and funny, and he's always got a tale to tell. Good stories. Rings a bell, yep. I think Siobhan Redmond was in it as the main stewardess and sort of their nemesis. Very funny. I think that's still available on the iPlayer. Sure it is. Or it's on somewhere. It'll probably be on YouTube. Everything else is on here, isn't it? All Human Life and some other stuff. Yeah, but I genuinely can't think of anything I've watched recently that I've thought that's good, sitcom wise. They need to up the game. Man. we do sitcoms better than anywhere else, why aren't we doing them anymore? Saying that I haven't watched Two Doors Down, whatever it's called, which is Scottish and supposed to be really funny, so why wouldn't I watch it? Need to make more of an effort in 2024. Find new stuff. Come on, man, make me laugh, BBC, make me laugh. Mind you, the BBC is being just cut off at the knees, isn't it? You always check YouTube for old series of stuff, if you can remember what it was called. Always a handy thing to have if you can remember what the name of something is. Yeah. Even if you can't get full episodes and stuff, you can always find, I don't know, outtakes, behind the scenes, documentaries about them. There's loads of Red Dwarf stuff. They're making a series 1, they're making a series 2, all that kind of stuff. When they go into detail about how they made it and all the stuff that they had to change. The budgets went up, or a new camera came out, so they were using different sets, all that. Brilliant. Just finding background to things that I've watched so many times. You spent ages trying to find a handful of songs. What's that? Who that by? What's that? Definitely getting rougher out there now, man. And far more fireworks. Which means the fireworks are going off and nobody's going to be outside looking at them because it's horrendous, end of the world kind of stuff. Been watching more car stuff as well recently. There's a good channel called Transformotion, which is two lads in Skelmersdale near Liverpool, and they are naturally really funny. Just seem like two lads I'd know. I'm watching them trying to fix cars. Brilliant. From your youth, just two people singing nursery rhymes. Don't know that one. Or maybe I do, but I just can't think of it. I remember Storyteller. In Germany, I'm Johann. In England, I am John. Remember him? Steve, you watched two German girls watch Band of Brothers episode 9, the concentration camp episode. It was hard watching them go through it, I can imagine. They're not bad, Germany, at educating the people coming through exactly what happened. They held their hands up to it, but I can imagine having to look through it and think, shit, this happened, and this is like my grandparents or great grandparents could have been involved in this kind of stuff. It must be horrific. But again, I suppose that's an interesting thing to watch as well. Not just the same usual bullshit that's on YouTube constantly. Because you can find that at any stage, you can find people being idiots on YouTube. Seeing someone going through something and seeing a genuine reaction to it must have been interesting, if nothing else. And do you still know all the words to A Mouse Lived in a Windmill? Let's hear them then, come on. Get your mic. Get your SM58 out. I'm presuming you've got an SM58. You'd have to go one better than me, wouldn't you, with me SM57? I'm pleased with that, actually. That's one thing that I've done this year that I'm pleased with. I'm getting a bit of a setup now, which I'm happy with. The stupid big light, decent sound, I think. Well, not too bad sound anyway. And that was definitely well worth the money. If anyone's watching thinking about what microphone to get if you're going to make YouTube videos, you can't go wrong with a Shure SM57 XLR into I've got a Fifine little mixer. So about 140 quid between it for really good sound that I can use for music, singing into, guitars. It can all be recorded. So for me, money well spent, I think. Yeah, what is it about windmills, Mandy? Did you have a thing for Windy Miller? Is this a window onto your soul, is it? In old Amsterdam, a windmill with a mouse in, and he wasn't grousing. That sounds a little bit familiar, and I don't know why. Yeah. Go ahead, man. Let's smash it, girl. Isn't it strange, stuff like that? I mean, my memory is nowhere near as good as it used to be. It never was, to be honest. But a song can come on in the car and I'll instantly know every single word to it. And not even just a little couple of lines. It could be a long song and I know every single word. So it says to me that music especially is a good way of learning things. If you do it, I don't know, what do they call it? Those people that can memorise an entire deck of cards just by having a story that goes with it. Create a story in their head and automatically they remember everything that goes on with it. I think music does the same, which is why when I was doing my revising for my GCSEs when I was 15, I was playing guitar all the time, and as soon as I sat down for the exam, I just thought of a song and loads of information come flooding out. So I think it worked wonders for me. Yeah, don't be shy, you with friends, go ahead. Get singing, Mandy la. Give us a tune. That is definitely getting worse out there now. Feels like the whole house is shaking. It's probably the only song you remember all the words to. Which, considering Mandy, weren't you a singer? Not a good sign. That's the only one you can remember. There must be others, come on. I surprised myself the other day by listening to Het Goede Doel and singing along with every word in Dutch. Just as soon as it started playing, bang, the words were there. 5 minutes to go. Yep. Which is more than 21 seconds to go, isn't it? But hasn't it been an interesting year, 2023? I mean, there's loads of weird stuff has happened for everyone. But that's been a genuinely strange year. Yeah, when Bohemian Rhapsody fires up, we all remember those words. Those are the kind of things that are encoded into our DNA, I think, passed down from generation to generation. Plus, we've heard it that many times. It's just, it is there, isn't it? There's a few songs like that. That's one of them. That's genuinely, that's within the greater consciousness of the entire nation, not just us. Thanks to Wayne's World, I think all over the world will be the same. There was a good BBC4 documentary about that song, about how it was written, why it's more complicated than you think, and what some of the lyrics means and things like that. And just, it was just because it's a song I heard that often. There was things they were telling you about that I had never even thought of. It's always interesting when someone tells you something new about something you know inside out. So you were crap with lyrics, you made them up as you went along, or had them written in a folder discreetly positioned behind a speaker. Well, that's good, because there's people nowadays, bands and artists, who wrote the songs, who don't even pretend. They just have a big monitor in front of them with the lyrics on. And I suppose if you're in a band that's got 20 odd albums and something, and been playing together for years, you'd need the lyrics in front of you. Steve, it's been a pleasure being in your company as well, mate, all year long. It's I never thought I'd end up doing live streaming. It's I'm glad I did, because, like I've said before, this is a really good thing mentally for me, just to be able to interact with people in a nice, relaxed environment. Obviously, I'm getting more watch hours, but more importantly is it's the social side of things for me. So it's I think also being a bit more confident in how I am on camera. I don't give a shit anymore. It's, what you see is what you get. That's been quite opening for me, I think. So yeah, it's been fantastic sharing this last year with everyone. And considering it's been a hard year, trying to get through and push myself forward, having that support really has been fantastic. So I really do appreciate each and every one of you, everyone in the community, everyone in Dan's chats, everyone who's ever been in one of mine as well. It's absolutely fantastic. You made things a lot easier for me, pushed me when I needed it. You love karaoke. I love his brother Phil and the Human League. If you love karaoke, get yourself to Little Cooper's in Liverpool. Yep, met some nice people, gone from saying nothing to this. Yep. What more can you ask for? It's a fantastic little community. Everyone looks after each other. In a world that's just, it can be nasty at times, it's nice to have somewhere like this. A nice little corner of social media where people look out for each other. Long may it continue. Yeah, bless you, Andy. Well, indeed. Well said, Steve. Well, and there we go. The fireworks are starting to go either crazy or someone has invaded Southport. And it is midnight, so Happy New Year to all our Brits. Hope 2024 continues as 2023 went on. Success and health to everyone, that's the main thing. Happiness and health to everyone. Yes, man, you're still quiet. There's more than 20 in the chat. I'm not surprised. Normally, it can get a little bit hyper at that point. Yes, absolute chaos out there now. Jeez. I think they spent more tonight than they did on fireworks night by the sound of it. Can you hear that? Lots of explodies. can't see a single thing. It must be much further down by the front. I'm about 2.5 miles away, on the outskirts of the town. That sounds like a war zone out there now. Yeah, it didn't rain on the fireworks. No one did. We made sure. Even though it is raining, they're still up there, making loads of noise. The sky's lit up along the coast. Get some video, get some pictures, stick it on the RDA. I would do, only like I say. Oh, sorry, I can see some. Not too far away either, that's why they're so noisy. Mandy's in the conservatory, yep. Checking out the North Wales coast. Handy that as well. With it being fairly flat, being able to see all around the entire coast. Nope, you're still there, right. I thought you'd be in the conservatory now, watching the fireworks show. But no, you're still here with us. That's what we like to see. Smashing the hours. That noise, man, that is incredible. Well, we're setting that fireworks off. That's a proper firework display, that, by the look of it. Or someone has got a few quid and they're not scared to spend it. It's proper, man. Oh well, I am starting to fade a bit now, I think. 3.5 hours, that's the longest I've ever done. Which, it's a long time now, isn't it? This is all training. I can't do an 8 hour like Angie does, but, you know, getting there slowly. And I'm not in pain. Woo. Fucking who. So I'll start getting ready to have my first little glass of alcohol-free red wine of the year. And get my feet up as well. I think I need that today. You're on the cusp. The Wi-Fi is dodgy in the conservatory. Alright. So you've got to make sure that you stay within range. Cheers, Steve. Appreciate that, mate. Lovely to spend time with everyone. I really do appreciate you turning up. It's always nice to see you in the chat as well, mate. Let's hope 2024 is a good year for Norwich as well. There you go. Little football warning there. Yep. 2024 is going to be a good year. Let's all have it a faith. But for now...
That's all we've got time for this evening, so it's good night from me, and it's good night from him. Good night. Good night.
And that's that. Have a great 2024. And I will hopefully see you very, very soon.